It's another glorious day, my tea sippers, and you know what time it is. I hope you have all of your crumpets together because it's time to dish tea. And you're dishing tea, darlings, with Big Meat.
Can't wait. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat.
Darling.
Hey, hello, 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 hey, hello, 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 hello. I had to breathe.
You do it tonight, Martin.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Hello, hello, hello to all of mine. My tea sippers, my crumpet dunkers, my tea brewers, my pot stirrers, and my tea leaf readers. What's your tea, my darlings? What is your tea? And I know you have all of your crumpets tonight because, darlings, you know what time it is. And it's time to dish tea, and you are dishing tea, darlings, with Big Meat. What's going on? Oh, sweetheart, can I be real with you for a minute? Can I just talk to you for just half of a second? And this light is too goddamn bright, ain't it? Am I looking real bright? Come here, baby. I need you to turn this down for me. It's too bright. I'm looking a little too shiny and too out of the way.
It's down.
Turn the other one.
Oh, that's up.
Oh, no.
That's down. That's what you normally have.
Okay. Something ain't right. All right. And you know what? It might be the chandelier, because I noticed ever since I changed this backdrop, the light reflects differently. So it just might be me. But nonetheless, we didn't have a show yesterday, honey, because I'm telling y'all, I am still getting over the side effects of this fucking second vaccine shot. Okay. Thursday, I went and had my second shot. So I am fully vaccinated. Okay. I can't stand that term right now you know, it bothers me when certain things become the political thing to say. You know, oh, I'm fully vaccinated. I'm fully vaccinated. And that just bothers me because right now, those just sound like political buzzwords, right? So I had my second shot on this past Thursday, the 26th. I was fine, just had a little sore arm, you know, on the day of. Maybe later on that night, you know, I started purging my system because I noticed I had to have a talk with the queen a little bit more frequently. I said, oh, okay. So, all right, that's cool. Baby, yesterday wore my black ass out all day. Okay? Wore me the fuck out. When I tell y'all, I just could not get up. Every time I tried to do something, I was achy. I was just all over the place, okay? I felt lethargic. I had the chills. My head was hurting, and everybody kept telling me, make sure you take some Tylenol and make sure you stay hydrated. So, I'm drinking my almond milk. I got water. I got juice. I took Tylenol and carrying on. But I just could not pull it together. At first, I thought I was going to come on and just be wrapped up in my blanket. I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'll do that so I can still, save face and be here with the audience. Baby, I just couldn't do it because sitting up here at this computer, like right now, I'm not struggling like I was yesterday. It's like I can handle this. Okay, we're gonna make it happen. But yesterday was just not good, and it is absolutely ridiculous. Okay, for those of y'all who've been through your vaccines and carried on, this is the part that got me because I know we're talking booster shots and carrying on and possible booster shots and all of that, but that wasn't a mandate or a recommendation as of yet, right? Well, they're saying that for those who have had any kind of surgeries, any kind of transplant operations, any kind of compromised immune deficiencies and things of that nature, right? Well, the woman who gave me my shot or whatever, she said, okay, well, we'll see you in about 8 to 10 months. I said, 8 to 10 months. She said, yeah, we'll see you back for your booster. I said, oh, wait a minute. They're creating the booster. They're now saying that we got to take the booster shot or whatever. And then she wanted to reiterate, no, what they're saying, blah, 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 blah. But no. What you're saying is, dear, and this is why this shit becomes a little bit that way. What you're saying is you're starting out with those who are immune compromised or whatever. But eventually you're telling everybody that you're going to need a booster shot. And okay, now looking at it practically, it's just like every year before you take the flu shot and all of that, it's just to give you just a little extra edge and carry it on and this, that, and the other. And that's fine. I'm not necessarily going to trip on it 100%. It's just that I'm in my feelings right now because y'all know how I felt about this. I did not want to take it right now. I was going to wait until about this time next year to take it. But I felt forced into it because my circle started closing in on me and the people that I've become around, I'm around more senior citizens. I'm around more folks, like children and carrying on. And then, I work in a hotel. So a lot of folks do not want to wear their masks and carrying on. And it was becoming a little bit, health conscious for me to do a little bit more. So I felt like I was forced into taking it right now when I didn't want to take it right now. So, yeah, so now going through all these damn changes has just been a little bit much for me at this particular time. However, it's done, and we're just going to see where the hell this takes us. Now, I do have a question, because if we're taking this, I want to know how all this shit is supposed to interact with one another, because this is the C-19 vaccine, right? Now, I'm already asthmatic. See, here's another thing. Because COVID is a respiratory virus, I'm already asthmatic, okay? And, they advised us to take the flu shot and the pneumonia shot, which I usually do. I haven't the last year or so, maybe the last 2 years, because I had gotten sick. I usually don't get sick off of those particular shots, But I had gotten sick, and that threw me off a little bit. I was like, okay, what the hell had happened? And I realized there was a new strain and this, that, and other. But I usually don't get sick when I take the flu shot and carry it on. So now that we done got this, is this going to, how are these things going to interact with everything else? They still want, my doctor and carrying on, they're still trying to get us to get on PrEP. I know a lot of y'all are still here, for your HIV and this, that, and other. You need to get on PrEP. You need to get on PrEP. And that there bothers me because, again, who in the hell paying for all this? Because you keep saying it's free, it's free, it's free, it's free, it's free. Somebody is paying for it somewhere. So where is this coming? Where is this coming from? And now that we got all these goddamn things in our bodies and in our system, what is it doing to us as far as the interactions and stuff are concerned? That there is a major, major question that I have for the Dr. Fauci's and for those who are doing all this, because I'm not on PrEP. My doctor is trying to encourage me to do it. Well, are you sexually active? Yes. Well, you need to be on PrEP. Why do I need to be on PrEP? If I'm doing what I need to do to take care of myself and to, to have safer sex practices and this, that, and the other, I'm not as rambunctious as I used to be. So, I have a control on the number of sexual partners that I have as a single man and carrying on. So why do I need to be on this PrEP shit? So every time I hear that, you need to, that stuff bothers me because it's like, no, where are the options? And, we were talking before, it's one thing to sit down there and have conversations, but it's another thing to sit down there and all we're doing is bitch moaning and complaining, but we're not having the solutions and the tactical plan of action talk. As always, we come to have a conversation, but we don't have a solution-based conversation to it. We need multiple solutions because it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. You understand? So that there is where I am. So we're back here today. We're going to try to cover a few things I wanted to cover last night. I was looking for a couple of articles that I had came across, and it was by happenstance that I found them. And now, because I'm out of that particular grid, I can't find the ones that I was looking for. But I have something that's going to take us into those particular elements and things of that nature. Okay? So let me go to the comments. I see you guys are coming up in here. Okay. What we got? Cardell. Hello there, friend. How are you? David, good evening, Big Meat. I pray for you. Have been feeling better, bro. Okay. Thank you. I'm almost there. Hey, Charles. What is this? You should be on the chat. I'd be on Monday through Friday because they say it's not forced. I disagree. I disagree too. See here, you know what? It's a passive aggressive kind of thing. Yes, the fuck it is you forcing me. Okay. If I say I don't want to take it right now, okay, if that's what I said, and this is my decision, why is it that you close in the circle on me? Because now you done put me into a spot to where I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't. Okay. And the damned if I don't becomes, if I didn't take it, then it was going to stifle me from going into doing all the other shit that I need. Y'all know New York, the city of New York, the mayor has already declared that if you do not have your vaccine and you're approved with your vaccine card or whatever, you're not going to be able to go into public places and carry on because he's already mandated that September 13th is the day. So everybody got until September 13th or they're going to be stifled. You can't go into places. So now that means you got a Grubhub and this, that, and the other, blah, 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 all that old bullshit. And I'm like, really? So we got the mandates in place already that now is saying if you're going to mandate something, that's forced. Okay? What did they tell y'all? When you go to a meeting, this is a mandatory meeting, okay? Only two ways you're getting out of this meeting, honey, is you dead or you in the hospital almost dead, okay? Anything other than that requires a consequence if you miss that meeting on the job, right? So that there is that. These are mandatory meetings, which means you must be here in attendance. And if you don't, there's a severe consequence. So now that there is where we are. And that's bothering me. This new thing with the jobs. I just saw you put this up here, TC. What you say? Right, that if you don't take it, your insurance will be $200 more a month on your job. See, that's bullshit. How in the hell you gonna make me? And I heard that on the news when they're talking about they were going to make that mandatory and treat that like they do smokers. Okay, like your insurance premium is going to go higher because you're a smoker and carrying on. Well, wait a minute. Number one, instead of making sure that you do things to try to help smokers stop smoking and carrying on, why do their insurance premium go up higher? Because that's an addictive thing. You don't do that with crackheads. You don't do that with anybody else. As a matter of fact, anybody else that's on harder drugs and opioids and carrying on, y'all got programs for them. You don't even charge them extra on their damn insurance like that. You don't even charge them extra on life insurance and shit like that. You only do that to smokers. What the fuck is that? That ain't cute. That ain't cute at all. Hey, Hugh, what's going on? I just took my booster shot yesterday. I feel fine. No problems at all. Okay, wonderful. I'm glad. Now, you said you had a booster. So maybe because, the first 2 shots had already done the system and calibrated the system to what is in the shot, perhaps the booster is not going to be as effective. It's not going to have any adverse or serious adverse side effects because your body is already conditioned to what's coming in. You know what I'm saying? Everything else, because you're trying to regulate the body to what this is and how it's going to fight and this, that, and the other. That might be the case. But then again, it may not be because, everybody is different. I've had 3 different people tell me that they've gotten vaccinated and they had no problems at all from either shot, just a sore arm. No side effects or nothing. And I said, well, okay, lucky you, honey, lucky you. So be that as it may, what I want to get into first, I want to get into, and we got some strong stuff that I'm going to do today. And where do I want to go? I think I want to go here first. I'm going to play a video for y'all that came up on Instagram yesterday. Okay. And I say this because I know my power to the people, children. Every time, we come up across these kinds of conversations, what ends up happening is whenever we hear white folks talk, and oftentimes when they're talking and they are talking the language that we like to hear, as far as them being allies to us and carrying on. There are moments where we bring about pause because there have been times where what we thought were allies, those were only predators because they would come in saying that they're doing something for the inner city children or whatever, or for Black folks or whatever, the disenfranchised. They create the program, created a nonprofit organization where you could, under a nonprofit organization, most folks, you could create a job, child. You could create a job and, you could create yourself $100,000 a year job because of the administration that it takes for you to do what you do, get your budget together. You can create a job through the nonprofit sector, okay? And oftentimes they do. So when they get the money and they get the funding and, folks come donating, they get all these fundraisers going on, they donate and they get all this coin. But all of the coin does not necessarily go to the targeted audience. You claim that you're doing it for the inner city or the disenfranchised or whatever, but then that money go to help somebody else. You helping other folks. Same within the same demographic that you say your grant is in, but not where it's supposed to go, but you came down here to get your numbers on. Then you get these folks to rally and this, that, and the other. At Christmas time and Thanksgiving time, whatever, you throw them a little free turkey, a little food box or whatever. I think you done did something. And everybody happy because they got something free, and then it's back to business as usual, But I'm going to play this. And I want you guys to listen. Let's listen to this. And I want you to tell me your thoughts about it because I'm going to tell you mine. Okay. I'm going to tell you mine. Wait a minute. What am I doing? That's not what I just did. No, that's not what I'm doing. I want to share the screen. Share screen. That's what we're doing. Sharing screen. I need to make sure I share the sound as well. Chrome tab. Where is it? No, window. Can I get it? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, this is not doing what I needed to do. Hold on. Wait a minute. I'm trying to share this video, but it's going to make me do it the other way. And that's what I was trying not to do. Damn it, I was trying not to do it this way. Okay, now wait a minute. Hold on. Maybe because I had to open the screen. Let me see if that's what I had to do. Oh, Lord have mercy. See, it's too long for me to upload it into the system like I want to do. Here it is. Thank you. Okay, so I got to share it like this. Okay. So we're going to do this. And,
thank you. No justice. No justice. Mr. Blake, thank you for having me, sir. It's an honor. Growing up in the mountains of North Carolina, I was taught racism. From as young as I can remember, I was told black people are violent. Black people are lazy. Black people are not as smart as white people. I remember my dad told me that black people are too lazy to work, and so they depend on welfare to live, and they sell drugs. 10 minutes after my dad said that to me, a man knocked on the door. I let him in. He handed my dad some money. My dad weighed out some marijuana and a few pills and handed it to that gentleman. And then we went to the store to buy some groceries. We didn't buy groceries with the money that man just handed my father. It was little yellow, blue, and green food coupons. So my dad is trying to teach me that black people are drug dealers on welfare while my dad was selling drugs out the living room, living on welfare. You see, he would tell me, son, I work very hard. I don't make enough money to provide for you kids. So that's why I sell these drugs. I just love you so much. And these food stamps, well, I pay my taxes. So I earn them. You see, the indoctrination begins at a very young age. We are taught without even knowing it, there are two Americas. Despite marijuana use with the black community and the white community at the same rate, the black community is arrested and convicted at a rate 3 times higher than white America. There are black Americans in prison right now serving 30 and 40-year sentences for marijuana, while corporations are becoming multi-billion-dollar businesses selling marijuana. There are two Americas. If a man broke in my house right now and I shot that man in the back, albeit in my own house, I could not claim self-defense because I shot him in the back. But a police officer can shoot Jacob Blake in the back 7 times and still be at work. If that's okay with you, we are on different moral platforms. We are on different ethical existences if that's okay with you. There's two Americas. The America I grew up in says if you comply, everything will be okay. Well, for white America, that's true. But black America faces a very different reality. The use of force and the threat of the use of force is actually 4 times higher for police-initiated interactions. The America I grew up in will say, if you stop talking about racism, it'll go away. Well, for white America, that's true. Because as a white American, I don't have to think about my race. I'm not judged by my skin color as soon as a potential employer meets me. As soon as a loan officer meets me, as someone that's coming to appraise my home for sale, don't judge me by my skin color. As a white American, I can completely forget about my race and even racism, so long as nobody talks about it. So then in my world, it won't exist. Well, I've decided enough of that. I'm here to call white America to task. I'm here to tell white America it's time to stand the hell up. Beside our fellow human beings, beside our fellow citizens, it is time for white America to be part of the solution. I was raised by racists. I was taught how to be racist. So you can quit telling me that racism doesn't exist. You're a damn liar. I was raised in the belly of the beast. I was raised by racists, and now they hate me. I call that a glow up. I'm not here to speak for Black America, over Black America, at Black America. I'm here to speak to and at white America, and I'm screaming, wake the hell up. White supremacy is woven into the very fabric of this country. White supremacy bleeds from every pore of this country. In schools, we have standardized testing, but we don't have standardized resources. We don't have standardized opportunities. In hospitals, a Black woman is more likely to die during childbirth at a rate 3 times higher than that of a white woman. In neighborhoods, power plants and dumps are more likely to be put up by a predominantly Black neighborhood than a predominantly white neighborhood. At home, 22% of Black America lives in poverty, whereas only 9% of white America lives in poverty. White America loves Black music, Black trends, Black culture, but kills Black people at a rate 2.87 times higher than that of white people by police. All of these things will not change unless we tear down, I'm going to say that again, unless we tear down the system of white supremacy that has built them into existence. We cannot fix the current system, for it is not broken. This system is working exactly as it was intended. Passing laws will not change it. You cannot legislate morality. Black America has screamed tirelessly for decades about these injustices, while white America has turned a blind eye and a deaf ear. Well, I'm here to say no more. Change is coming. Revolution is coming. It's time to open your eyes, white America. White people make up nearly 60% of the American population, and the overwhelming majority of them refuse to even admit that racism exists. They think that there's a conspiracy against them by the government with zero evidence, but ignore the obvious systemic racism and oppression against Black America that's well documented. Well, I've made it my life's mission to call white America to task. Mr. Blake, Miss Austin, to all the families of victims of police brutality in this country, to all of those of you who wake up every day and deal with the system of white supremacy built to marginalize you, I say to you this one thing: I will stand with you. I will march with you. I will protest with you. I will fight with you. I will use my privilege and my platform to demand that white America stop ignoring this humanitarian crisis happening right here in America. So, white America, this is your choice. Either be part of the solution, or by God, you are the problem. No justice. Thank you.
All right, and all right again. Okay. Wait a minute, let me get up out of here. Make sure that we're back. Can y'all see me? Wait a minute, let me move that. There we go. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Y'all still here with me? Okay. We are back. And yeah, so that there is what's going on. So I wanted to play that because I wanted you guys to see what was going on with that. Okay. And I wanted you to hear that in its entirety, because oftentimes when we hear Caucasian Americans or Caucasian people, period, with that kind of lecture, you know, when they have those kind of words, when they have, you know, something that is empowering, that speaks to us or whatever, that speaks for us, about us, and carrying on when they are in the position of being allies. Again, my power to the people, children. Usually see that as a ploy. Okay, they like to call a lot of black folks who support these kind of people bootlickers and things of that nature. You know, they say, oh, well, you sit up there you become an agent of white supremacy because this was a ploy to get you to this, that, and the other. And I highly disagree. I disagree because I really believe that people like him and, you know, and the liking really need to talk to white folks. See, white folks need to talk to white folks. Okay? They need to have that internalized fighting and that internalized cleaning that we know we need to have. Okay? Because everything that he has just said, we have been saying that for years, decades, damn near a century. No, actually 3 centuries. Okay? For 300 years, we've been saying that. You know, as far as us being disenfranchised, and we've been saying it in many different ways. As technology changes and as opportunities have grown, and you know, we've been fighting for X, Y, and Z. As the world opened, it's the same fight. The semantics have just been different. So now, when we say those things, you know, as far as abuse towards us and this, that, and the other, when we say it to other Caucasians or Anglo-Saxon children or whatever, we do not get the power or the reception that it needs, okay? It becomes a slur fight. It becomes falling on deaf ears. We have other Black folks who are very conservative, like the Candace Owens and carrying on, and those particular people, Larry Elders and the Hodge twins, and, you know, all of those vocal conservatives who start to hear that as, oh, you're playing the victim card. You're the victim. You're the victim. You're the victim. And that's not playing the victim. What it is outlining what the hell the problem is. Okay. But what do you feel? Do you think that when white folks say that and they come to rallies and stuff and they can charge the crowd or whatever? Because if you heard how we were talking, he damn near sounded like a preacher, didn't he? Okay. And y'all know how we get, honey. So somebody talking good, honey, we get an amen corner in a minute, don't we? If it's something that we like. So now the question becomes, what is it that we need to do to take him and folks like him and to put them in front of other white folks? See, he needs to be the one to go talk to the Klan and to the white nationalists and to the other white supremacists and to the those who protect the Confederate flag and those who sit down there and our policyholders. See, he's the one. Those are the people that need to sit up there and go talk to those folks so they can be called nigger lovers to their faces and carrying on. They can sit down there and get into the fights and things that we have been getting into because they didn't want to hear from us because they said that we sit up and we bitching and moaning and complaining and we have all the, you know, they see affirmative action and stuff as something that was a gift to us. Oh, well, y'all can sit down there. Y'all can get here. Y'all have opportunities that you squander and this, that, and the other. But those opportunities are not meant to last, number one, a lifetime. Number two, some of those opportunities, they weren't meant for us in the beginning. Affirmative action, white women have been the ones to make important stands out of affirmative action. White women. Okay? Because even they women were still considered to be second-class citizens. So a lot of the fights and the strides that we have had in this country, as far as equality and stuff is concerned, a lot of that our white females have been able to capitalize on because they were already second-class citizens by their own people. So when you add that onto everything else, this is why a lot of Blacks don't deal with the feminist movement, you know, and the whole I am woman, hear me roar. Because white women have to fight for their own independence and they have to fight for their own morality and their own, and I'm saying morality, that's a good word, because a lot of the times, you know, what we know to be masculine and feminine in this economy and in this world stems from what white men say the gender roles ought to be. You know, white men have set up there and told their women that they're not supposed to be in the workplace. They're supposed to be at home. That's because if you look at all of the old, look at all when television first got started, you know, and you see some of the old TV shows or whatever. Honey, the woman was at home. She was a homemaker. Okay, she wasn't supposed to know business. She wasn't supposed to know finances. That's a company that made cigarettes because the woman wasn't supposed to smoke cigars. That was too masculine. You know, and carrying on. And so the idea of a woman being docile, you know, not necessarily feminine, but docile or docile, okay, is what we have allowed for this thing to be. That's come, you know, the whole idea of women wearing pants. Now, y'all know that is the most ridiculous thing on this side of creation. But at one point in time, women were not supposed to wear pants. Okay, so with all that going on, they were fighting for their rights. Why do you think it took them up until 1920 for women to have the right to vote? Now, my grandmother, my mother's mother, was born in 1918. Okay, so we're talking about my great-grandmother didn't have the right to vote. And then when women got the right to vote, black women still couldn't vote. How about that? You understand? So our right to vote, I was born in 1970. The Voters' Right Act passed in 1965. My mother was 15 years old. Okay. In 1965, my mother was 15 years young. Okay. And it was at that time that blacks got the right to legally vote. Okay. I'm 51. That means that was 56 years ago. And we're still fighting for the right to vote. Okay. So when women were fighting, and it got approved in 1920, and the Constitution was amended, black women still couldn't vote. So see, a lot of the stuff that was happening was a lot of what white women was able to gain. So when we have these kind of people with these kinds of conversations and talking points and you know, rally cries or whatever, wouldn't it be feasible, or how is it that we can get them to talk to their own? You heard the man say in his presentation, he said, I was raised to be racist. I was raised in my house. So in order to know that, white people need to talk to other white folks because they know what goes on in those households. They know what goes on when they come together around the water hole or the you know, whatever the case may be, and they get into their own little sections. They know what they teach, you know, one another. So do you agree that a lot of people, you know, that white folks need to talk to white folks? And then if they do, are we going to support it? Are we going to let them be to themselves? Or are we going to come in and try to play Amen Corner, you know, and all of that kind of jazz? Is that something that we're going to do? Because they don't come to play Amen Corner with us. When, you know, they still talking about black on black crime, black on black crime, black on black crime. Another one of them political talking points, right? They don't come to rally to say, oh, okay, y'all doing good. What they come to, and they start pointing fingers and say, this wrong, this wrong, this wrong, this wrong, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so are we going to encourage them to talk to one another, to get into the faces of these folks, to get out there and do that? And then let me ask this question. If we do encourage them, are we going to encourage them to do it? Or are we going to beg them like we need them to do it, as if we're counting on them to it? Are we going to attack it like it's the great white hope kind of thing? Okay. Are we going to look at it from that particular perspective? Because oftentimes, that's another one of those things that the power to the people children always say, that, you know, we always run to white folks, and, you know, we always acting as if they don't do it, then it, you know, nothing can be saved, and this, that, and the other. But are we going to encourage them? You know, because he come to talk to us is one thing. You know, you heard the expression of, okay, you preach it to the choir. Well, the choir got to go sing. Okay, it's time for the choir to sing. Give me an A and a B selection, honey. Okay, and call it great. So what are we going to do with that? How are we going to encourage them to rally with their own? You know, where are the news conferences to where they do that? See, that kind of conference needs to be like one of them Trump rallies. Okay, not like, you know, and carrying on for the folks to get out there to talk and to make that happen, and then we need to see them interact with one another. They always show how Parliament and stuff over there in Great Britain are carrying on when Parliament, you know, they get to fighting and carrying on, and they let Parliament meetings and stuff. That's their version of Congress and things. They fight, Oh, honey, they would jump over a table in a minute and beat each other's ass, honey, if they disagree with something that they're saying. We need to see them do all that shit. Okay, we need to see when Opie and Bubba from the Sticks disagree with Buffy and Becky that's from the city. Okay, we need to see them go at it. Okay, and we need to see how they're gonna call each other. You turn it up, your back on your race, you know, and we need to see that interaction, because see, we don't see that enough. Okay, we don't see that enough. We don't see how they are doing their internalized cleaning, but yet every time we turn around, our internalized cleaning become news, because either it done became something, or we don't know how to handle ourselves, and now we shooting and fighting and carrying on. Then it become black on black crime. You know what I'm saying? We need them to go into their own little places and to have these particular conversations. You understand? So that's how I'm seeing it. What say you? Wait a minute, Emmanuel, what is this you had? What about people paying $50 to $100 to take the vaccine? Why should someone have to pay you to possibly help save your life? You know what? Here's the thing. Those incentives and carrying on, I'm looking like this. As far as those incentives to take a goddamn vaccine, they can sit down there and do something else with that damn money. Either you're going to take it or you ain't. Okay? I shouldn't have to need to offer you free Popeye's chicken sandwiches and all that kind of do-I-diddy for you to come up in here and do some shit. And here's the thing. What is it that you're going to put a price on your life for? If you disagree with the damn vaccine to begin with, what the fuck you think $100 is supposed to do when you're talking about something that's going into your body that has a possibility of disrupting everything in you, if that's what you believe? So you saying that your body is only worth $100 or $1,000? Okay, who was it they were sitting up there trying to give the folks a free lottery ticket or whatever? You know, they had a chance to win the lotto or whatever the case may be, and that's a chance. And you didn't win it. You know what I'm saying? So if that's what your mindset is, then what an incentive is not going to be the end all be all for it. You understand? So okay, hey Gerald, you done came up in here. What's going on, love? Let me bring your boy Derek up in here. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on?
What's up? My mouth all juicy like I just got finished doing something, but I wasn't. I was being country. I was eating some pickled pig feet, honey.
Not pickled pig feet.
Yes, bitch. I love it, honey. All that bone up in that pig feet, honey. Ooh. And that's what I believe, honey, okay?
Okay, that's what you believe. Is that what you believe? Okay. Well, listen. I don't know if you were able to, if you saw any of the clip that I posted with the white guy, you know, saying what he was saying about white America. He said, "I'm not here to talk to black folks. I'm here to wake up white folks," you know, and this, that, and the other. And so the question becomes, how do we get them to rally for themselves? How do we get them to talk to their own people without it seeming as though we are looking at this like, okay, we need y'all to do this, you know, as black Americans, and we trying to save the world and this, that, and the other. You know, I don't want us to come into this thing like we need the great white hope syndrome. Okay. I need for us to be able to tell them, listen, this is what y'all have to do to make this thing happen, you know. But either if you do it or not, honey, listen, we gonna still do what the fuck we came up here to do. But talking to y'all ain't getting it nowhere, because y'all don't listen, you know, as a group. Because see, everything that just came out the man's mouth, we've been saying for a minute, for a nice little minute, and it ain't doing nothing. So what do we do? How do we do that? How do we go up in here without seeming as though we're relying on them to do that, as if it's going to be the end all be all answer? What's your take?
That right there. That's just a whole can of worms that have been opened, and unfortunately, I don't think now one of them damn worms gonna catch a fish.
Interesting. Oh, come on, give it to me.
I mean, to me, it just seems like lip service.
Okay. 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 I feel you on that. Okay, so what is it about the hype? Okay.
Because it's probably something that most of us have never seen or experienced or even heard of. And if and when in the past, if they've ever had these meetings, then let's keep it real, most of these meetings was held behind white sheets.
How about that? Hold on. George Stephanopoulos' double vaccinated daughter has COVID-19. Interesting. Interesting. Let me do this. I'm going to take a commercial break for a second, and I will be right back. Whether you are a resident or visiting the ATL, if you need to satisfy your soul and your hunger with some good old-fashioned scrumptious victuals, then head on over to Tara Boulevard and feast at the Country Kitchen Cuisine Buffet. The Country Kitchen Cuisine Buffet has a mouth-watering array of delicious delicacies that will tempt your tummy, tantalize your taste buds, and please your palates. All of our items on the buffet are made from scratch, just like Grandma used to make. Try our meatloaf, the succulent fried chicken, the smothered pork chops, the short ribs, the fried and baked fish. Try our oxtails, the turkey wings, and don't forget some of those fantastic sides with the macaroni and cheese, cornbread dressing, greens, cabbage, red beans and rice, potatoes and gravy, and oh my God, don't forget the cornbread and those decadent desserts. Your hunger will not be denied. Come on down to the Country Kitchen Cuisine Buffet, located at 8562 Tara Boulevard in Jonesboro, Georgia. Come on down and tell them that Big Meech and Dishing Tea has sent you. Yeah. Angelo Ellerby, the Henry Higgins of hip-hop, is the founder, president, and CEO of Double Exposure Media Relations. Double Exposure Media Relations is a full-service public relations, marketing, and artist development firm specializing in publicity, photography, artist promotion and artist development, makeup artistry, event production, and EPK development. Celebrating over 45 years in the industry, Angelo believes that a culture that does not take care of nor respect its artists is a culture that leaves nothing behind to appreciate. Let Angelo help you make dollars and cents of the entertainment industry. Contact Double Exposure Media Relations at 201-224-6570. That's 201-224-6570. All right, and we are back. I had to take a phone call that was coming in. Somebody kept calling me back to back to back, and I'm like, okay, something must be wrong. So I had to go to commercial real quick. But you were saying, Derek, that okay, it's just lip service. Okay, you believe it's just lip service and fodder, or at least hype.
Yeah. You know, the kind of thing that look cute on paper.
Yeah. You know. All right. So now how do we move beyond that? Because again, you know, I raised the question about having the conversations. You know, you hear it all the time, but you know, it's important. We need to have these kinds of conversations. We need to have these conversations. Okay, so when does the conversation become solutions and actions? Because right now we're just talking, and oftentimes we talk. And unless we will come seriously, but you know how this is us as people, and this is a cultural thing. Unless folks feel as though they're getting something out of it for them that's going to benefit them, they're not coming to talk. They're coming to eat, or they're coming to get the free shit.
You know what I'm saying? Gift cards, coming.
Gift cards, or the little swag bag, or whatever. They're not coming for the information, okay? And then when it comes down to having the conversation or conversations, then all of a sudden we get into this whole thing We get off topic. You know, we end up talking circles around shit. You know, folks get into their feelings because see now, when we say something generalized, we'll say, well, you know, we as black folks, we need to stop wearing all this damn weave and stuff in your hair, okay? And then the bitches will sit down there, and I'm saying it just like that. The bitches will sit down there and get all into their feelings. You can't tell me how to wear my goddamn hair. My hair is thin. I wear it because it's such, you know, you can't tell me what to do. See, this is all bullshit to me. And so it goes into a whole nother thing, you know, a whole nother thing to where, as opposed to it being a conversation, what we end up doing is passing judgment. We end up passing, you know, all kinds of criticism and things. And then it goes nowhere. You know, it goes nowhere. And there are some things that we have to talk about. You know, when we look at it, how is it that we have allowed the ghetto to be fabulous? Why do we call it ghetto fabulousness? There is nothing about the ghetto that should be fabulous. Okay.
But and let's keep it real. You know, we keep it R to the E to the A to the L. And the reason why that came about was because when you had people living in the ghettos, and not everybody, you know, they had sons and daughters slinging shit, and they living in the projects, and they got a damn Lexus outside.
Come
Their
on, come
mother
on.
on social services, and that's when they started calling ghetto fabulous. They weren't
Right,
saying ghetto was fabulous as everybody who lived in there. They were just talking about the people who had the cars and the people who mother house was laid out. They were ghetto fabulous, not the ghetto as a whole.
right. But and then what has happened? And I saw this in a Facebook group today. You know what? If I could find it, I put it up on my Instagram. And I hope I did. I was supposed to, but anyway, let me find the thing. What we did was we have allowed for the culture to now get into this thing to where we've normalized it so much to where now you got to rep the hood. You know, you got to rep the hood, and you got to rep the hood, and you got to rep the hood, because now you ain't down unless you know what? And we talked about this on the show before, and that was the difference between the good times mentality versus having the Cosby Show mentality. Okay, and I've used it on television shows because there was a lot of black folks who kept saying that they could not relate to the Cosby Show.
Yeah.
They couldn't relate. I was like, what do you mean you can't relate? Well, that's not real. That's not reality, honey. Who, you know, ain't no black doctor and a lawyer living in the same house, raising their kids. Yes, there are. Okay, just because you don't see it don't mean it ain't real. But because the children only know good times, you know, and struggling, and, you know, got to get through the hood, and we got to go through different gangs to get to school and shit. Because that's the only life that you know, or that's the only life that's being portrayed, or that's the only life that's being displayed. Then, you know, a lot of folks felt that though it's not real. And I'm using television programs, but let's look at it, because every time somebody had a good job, let's look at those who, because the projects weren't necessarily the projects. How about that? The projects, honey, it didn't mean that they were projects to be public housing. They were housing projects because it was multi-level housing or multi-use housing, you know. So you had some that were there for market value, some there above market value and carrying on, and it was all based on your income, whatever your income was, depending on your rent. Okay, but what was happening? You have folks who earned the living, okay, had to work for the city, okay, was making three, you know, 2-3 figures, you know. Well, wait a minute. I'm trying to say 4, 5, 6 figures, okay. And we're living in those kind of homes. And hell, okay, where I'm gonna use my mother's best friend, my auntie. She lived we in Herman Gardens in Detroit, and where she stayed. Now I think she was paying like maybe like $500 some odd a month. Okay, when the neighbor directly next door that was paying 18. Same shit. Same exact shit. But because of her income, that's what it was. And so now you had that, and because I'm able to make a living, then I got to deal with these little motherfuckers breaking in my house all the goddamn time. You know, because you know I'm working or whatever, so you're gonna break through the window. Or better yet, how about the motherfuckers was beating holes in the walls because we on the same wall. So you're gonna knock a hole in the wall to come in through the wall to steal the shit. Okay. So then it became, you know, then we got the whole drug culture and slinging the can on. So now you say you poor, but now you got all this shit coming up in here. How in the fuck you in the project like this? Okay, I know you ain't making no damn money, and you getting food stamps like everybody else, but you come up in here with the latest jeans and this, that, and other, which is why I look at it now. How in the hell you sitting up here claiming you this and you that, but yet you got the latest iPhone, you know, 12 or whatever. That motherfucker is $1,200 goddamn dollars. Where in the hell you buying a fucking phone and yet you telling me you can't pay your rent? Or you can't pay your utilities. Okay, how does that make sense in this world? Okay, and so when we talk about that and going through the motions and the notions, how do we, it goes back to what I'm saying about internalized cleaning, because how do we get from there to where we deal with our internal shit, white folks deal with their internal shit, so that we can now have some kind of growth and some solutions? Because I can talk about what are all day. So yeah, let me go to Lanier. What you say? And holding on to the idea of repping the hood is why the black community is way slower in their progression than they should be. So part of it is the community being their own worst enemy. All right. I can't fuck with that.
And let's keep it real, and we also got to realize that in a lot of these hoods and places of that magnitude, unfortunately, and you got to keep it real, shit goes on all day, every day. But guess what? Anybody gonna talk about it? Anybody gonna talk about it because they're scared for their damn life? Let's keep it real. You sit back there and you tell people, I can't believe you live around that shit, blah, 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 blah. But guess what? There's consequences that come with living around that shit. And I'll use for an example, quite a few years ago, a whole damn family here in Baltimore. They blew up the whole fucking house. Father, daughter, mother, children, every goddamn body. Just because they did this, because the parents didn't want their children to live in a drug-infested neighborhood. So no, you can't you gotta check into that situation deeper than what it is. On the surface, it may be one thing, but you still have a lot of people that don't even live in the damn projects that's still scared to say any damn thing. Period.
How about that? Okay.
They went to bed, do a Molotov cocktail through the house and burned up the whole goddamn house. The 5 children, the mother, and the goddamn father, because the parents didn't want their children to live in a drug-infested neighborhood.
And so the folks got mad.
Yeah.
Because they were, you know what? Let's switch their conversation over. Why is it? We hear the expression "misery loves company," but why is it that we have an opportunity, when folks have an opportunity to do better, that other people get mad? I'm listening to something. My daughter in here watching Saints and Sinners, and I'm not watching it, but I heard something, and we always get into this whole attitude of you think you better than me. Okay, you better than me. And all the time when we get there, that's where a lot of the problem and things come into place, because a lot of folks, either they feel as though they're supposed to take advantage of it. They're supposed to, well, you ain't nobody special. You ain't better than me. How come you got it and I don't? Well, I've applied myself. Okay. And I have a couple of skills. Now, you may not have this skill, but you got some skills that you can apply, and this, that, and the other. and it becomes a whole big to do. You know, a whole big to do. So the question becomes, how is it that we move beyond that of, again, going back to good times? You know, I love having television references. Remember when what was it? Did they hit the lottery or something? Florida and somebody hit the lottery. They had the little money coming in, and that's when Shirley was on there. Shirley was playing the big dumb sister next to the girl. Okay, and they come up in there trying to rob them. Okay, well, y'all rich, you know, and she put on the little perfume or whatever. But you know, at least I go to jail smelling like I'm rich. You know,
Right.
what the fuck do you think, or why you think that you supposed to come and take mine because you ain't got it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what is that? You know, what is that mentality? Let's go here. TJ says projects were not to be lived in forever. In Long Island, New York, Levittown, it was homes built for the non-black military veterans. The blacks, when they returned, they had the projects where they had no equity. Now that's interesting. That there is very interesting. Okay. And then he says, take a pause and look up the word ghetto and its origin. Who was the first to live in the ghetto? Listen, I already know about that as far as the Italians are carrying on.
It was like the Italians and the Jews. I mean, anybody who knows anything about that knows that. Just like even in Annapolis, most of our projects came from. They were military housing first, because you know Annapolis is the home of the Naval Academy. You know they had all the little houses around it, and they turned the military housing into projects.
But
then you know what? And when you use TV references, I mean, how many of us can relate to the Jeffersons being well off? His wife doesn't work anywhere, got a maid, and living in the penthouse on the east side of New York.
Come on.
They didn't have a two-parent working family, and you know and I think even when they was on All in the Family, Louise went to the cleaners every once in a while, but that wasn't her damn job.
No, she was a maid. Louise was a maid. She was a maid, and then George hit it big. You know, got a good lick, and was able to get the cleaners off the ground. And so he retired her, and now running the business and stuff. So, you know, she would come in from time to time and help with the business and things. But then she got stuck. We're like, no, I need to do something. You know, let me get into this. And so that's where the help center comes along. And so now they're trying to be community leaders and this, that, and she and Helen and all that. And that whole idea of rebuilding the community, helping those who are less fortunate and blah, blah, blah. But then it becomes the whole idea, because remember the initial episode, as far as the other maid, you know, was upset because Louise didn't hire her. She said, girl, we're friends. You know, and this, that, and the other. How could I get you to work for me? And Miss Thing is like, well, bitch, honey, why not me? You know, I can get this little coin or whatever. You could be good. And I saw both. That was a good discussion, because I saw both sides of that. Because you're like, wait a minute, girl, why would I sit down there and make you work for me? Girl, I love you too much like that, honey. You know, because I don't need you to think that I'm better than you and put you in a position to where this, that, and the other. We friends. You know. And she's like, wait a minute, why not me? I should be the obvious choice, girl. If you got the kind of coin, you know, keep it within us. Why would you go get a stranger who don't know you versus X, Y, and Z? You know, so that was a real good discussion. And then that's how we Florence, okay. But
I remember the episode that Florence came in. She was like, when she found out that they lived there, she was like, well, how come we made it over and ain't nobody told me?
Okay, how come we done overcame and ain't nobody told me?
Right.
I love that. Okay. But yeah. So it's very, 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 very interesting. You know, how we have a lot of internalized cleaning. I remember that episode. We here for withdrawal. Yeah. But it's very interesting And again, we done sat down here and come to all these different layers of this to go back to understanding the whole thing that I started off with Mr. Man talking to white America. And will we as blacks allow that to happen without being so cynical of it, or without being so prejudiced to it, or without thinking it's a scam, or without it being whatever? Because obviously, and the way how I'm seeing this is only going to work if they talk to each other.
Yeah.
You know, they need to talk to each other and hash that shit out between them with their internalized cleaning. You know, white supremacy, the idea and the institution of white supremacy, they're the ones who created it, so they're the ones that got to talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, and keep believing that it don't exist or whatever. Oh, that don't exist. You's a damn lie. But because you're not on the receiving end of it, of course it doesn't exist, because you being you.
Yeah.
Because you being normal. It's just like how we tell straight folks all the time. Most of the time, what they saying, you know, they believe in their heart. Oh, that's some fucked up shit. That faggot shit, that's fucked up. They're not coming from a place of necessarily hate. They don't know it. You know what I'm saying? They don't know it. So when they shoot from the hip, they just shoot from the hip based on an opinion that they have, that they know. You know, it's not necessarily hate, but you know the difference when they're coming from that particular element. So same thing here. White folks got to talk to white folks, because that's the only way that y'all created this system. Us telling you created it, honey, don't mean nothing, because you don't understand what we go through. You know, because you're not on the receiving end of it. Okay, of the maliciousness and the hatred and carrying on. It doesn't become a problem until y'all say that black folks that went rogue, you know, and make it a race thing. And most of the time when we do go rogue, we do make it a race thing, so that you could. The idea that I've seen every time I've seen news stories about it has always been blacks trying to make white folks feel the way that we feel. They never will. They never will, because they already see us as the thugs anyway. So this is behavior they're expecting. You know, that's not what they see. You're trying to get them to see hurt and they need to understand what they ain't got to understand shit. But this is why they need to talk to each other, because you know how you raise your damn kids. You know how you raise these damn little racist ass little bastards, for those who are. You know the ones that you raised to say, okay, we need to stay separate. You know, I don't need you bringing no little black ass gal over here, no black boy over here. You know, we don't have it over here. Same way how black folks.
I didn't heard it. I didn't heard it. But see, you know, and the issue that I have, and I always resort back to my girl, is that you cannot talk about change if you're not going to talk about change from what to what. You can talk about change, but you're not talking about what you're changing from to. Everybody's talking about the goddamn elephant in the room, but nobody's talking about what they're going to do with the damn elephant in the room.
Oh, right. Okay. Are you going to give it a peanut, or you going to cut this motherfucker off?
Right. I mean, it's in the room, but what the hell is you going to do with it in the room?
I like the episode where the white woman went from rich to poor, George's first customer. Yeah. Oh, God. You took me there. I remember that. Okay. So, all right. That there was nothing. You know, I was hoping that more of y'all would have had. Again, this is the part that gets me. When we have conversations like this, everybody want to get quiet. You know what I'm saying? I'm finna get to go into some shit. Now I know folks finna get have something to say, but when it comes down to stuff like this is where everybody get damn quiet. I'm looking at the numbers. They going in and out and carrying on, because everybody want to tune a deaf ear on this. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of frustrates me a little bit, because it's like, listen, you keep saying that we need to have the conversations, we need to have solutions, we need to this. But when it's the opportunity for you to sit down and to at least pay attention, get the information, you stray from it, you run from it. Okay? And then you want to act as if you're uninformed or whatever, because this is beyond ignorant. Because you can't say that you're ignorant right now because the information is here. This is being stupid. Okay, this is being fucking stupid. And stupid is you know what the fuck to do or know how to get the resources and the information, but you choose not to. See, that's what stupid is. And I just get upset whenever we have conversations like this and folks they want to clam up or feel as though they don't want to relate. Or better yet, I've had this happen to me all the time in some Facebook groups. They'll say, oh, that's too heavy. You know, oh, you talking too heavy. We just want to have fun. But having fun, all y'all want to do is talk about sucking and fucking all damn day.
But that's all they know.
Oh,
You know they like with my like and you know me, I'm a big key hardy. I'm a key motherfucking cackle hardy. Like my straight friends, you know, we'll be chilling, they'll be outside there. Yeah, you know, I did such and such to this girl and we did blah 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 blah. You know me. I just politely kind of act, well, I had this nigga, but I don't want to hear that. So what made me think I wanted to hear you talking about what your girl did, what you and your girl did?
How about that? Okay.
It's fair play. You talk about what you did, and I listen to it. So why you not gonna let? So no, I mean, I just think when I'm around y'all, we just gonna have conversations that don't have anything to do with sex. Period. Because it's not going to end up being a good conversation for anybody.
How about that? How about that? But that's a beautiful segue because we're finna go into talking nasty for a second.
Oh, nasty! That's my wait a minute. Let me get my good wig on, honey.
Because we just did the show where I was talking about and broke down the whole thing last week about OnlyFans, right? And how they said they were going to discontinue and take down all the adult content. Well, they reversed their decision. They're going to leave the content up there and carry it on and let the content creators do what they do. However, you know, a lot of people have already pulled out. They're like, no pun intended.
Check it
out, you know, they left them alone and they've gone to other different formats. As a matter of fact, there's somebody created one. And it's oh shit. Somebody named Tiger. He created his own site and it's called My Something. Is it My Fans and something? Whatever, he done created his own little thing, and he's a black guy who created his own platform and is offering everybody the opportunity to come over there. Now, I think that's revolutionary because I don't think that we have a black-owned streaming service such as the OnlyFans and in this particular caliber. We do have fan base. Fan base is like Twitter and all that. Isaac Hayes III had created that and carrying on to where you could actually get paid for your content over there and all your hearts and this, that, and the other, because you don't get paid off of Twitter. I mean, and Instagram. Now, that's what I'm saying, Instagram. You don't get paid off of Instagram when folks like your shit and carry it. Instagram just now started to do what you could buy, kind of like they do on Bigo. You buy badges and stuff, and you know you can get the folks that way, but or contribute to the folks. But now, fan base is a streaming, you know, Instagram competitor. And so, depending on how you set the thing up, you can get paid for your content over there. And it's black owned. So it's like, okay, cute. But OnlyFans decided to reverse their decision. I'm going to read this from ABC News. Okay. Because I found this to be, there's a bigger story in this that I want to get to. It says here, and this is dated for October 25th. August 25th of 2021. OnlyFans says it has suspended a plan to ban sexually explicit content following an outcry from its creators and advocates for sex workers. The subscription site, said in a prepared statement Wednesday that the planned ban was, quote, no longer required due to banking partners, end quote, assurances that OnlyFans can support all genres of creators. And declined to answer further questions. OnlyFans said last Thursday it would ban explicit content starting October 1st, blaming policies of banks and payment processors for the policy change. The new rules are necessary to comply with the requirements of these financial institutions and are the only way to help ensure the long-term sustainability of OnlyFans, the company said in a message to users last week. OnlyFans has become famous as a place where sex workers can get paid in a safer way, as well as a space for celebrities to interact with fans. Last week's abrupt change upset the site's creators, many of whom threatened to move to another website. A lot of sex workers joined OnlyFans during the pandemic when in-person venues shut down or become more dangerous because of COVID-19. The site has been tremendously lucrative for some people, allowing them to earn thousands every month. OnlyFans says it has 130 million users and 2 million creators have collectively earned $5 billion. Damn. Okay. Damn. Lacey Lennon, who says she makes tens of thousands of dollars each month from OnlyFans, charging $100 a minute for custom videos, remains skeptical on the ban's reversal. What is scary is what's the safety in this? How do we keep how do we know it won't happen again? The other sites where people pay for porn and crop of any new and a crop of new ones started trying to lure upset OnlyFans creators. Rapper Tiger, here we go, was promoting his plan for a new platform called My Star, in media interviews after OnlyFans announced their banning, saying, "We're not putting a limit on content that you do," end quote. Quote, "We've been in the adult industry for 20 years and we're tired of seeing sex workers get bullied and exploited by the platforms that make their money off of them," says Maddie McCoy, whose Nevada company is also developing a site that could offer an alternative to OnlyFans for sex workers called Naughty Popcorn. Not the Naughty Popcorn. Okay. Advocates have criticized OnlyFans planned ban, saying that they were concerned it would push people into more dangerous street-based sex work. They say taking away safer virtual space, and cutting people's income makes them more vulnerable to the risk of being trafficked. Okay, trafficked. Did I just say that all nasty like that? Trafficked. It's trafficked. Okay. Not having the outlet is going to hinder and harm a lot of people. Online is much safer, particularly for trans and gender nonconforming folks, said Layla Zanel, the ACLU's trans justice campaign manager, who leads the right group's effort to decriminalize sex work. Okay, let me jump down because I'm trying to get to the part that makes sense to me. Okay, where I think it's the bigger conversation. Okay, and that there is this. I'm gonna jump down, and it says here, adult content companies have to navigate higher fees and requirements from financial companies beyond what most retailers encounter. Others won't touch it. Both MasterCard and Visa last year began blocking customers from using credit cards on Pornhub after accusations that the site had videos of rape and underage sex. American Express cards, meanwhile, cannot be used on online pornography. Stripes won't process adult content. Okay? And I'm going to stop there because this goes on and on. I'm going to read the last sentence. It says the anti-porn group NCOSE said it remains steadfast in holding OnlyFans accountable for enabling abuse and exploitation and calls its age verification process, quote, useless in practice. This is the ABC News. This is from the Associated Press writers Barbara Orchute and Ken Sweet, who created this particular story. Okay, let me do this. I'm gonna copy the link and I'm gonna put the link up here so that y'all can see this. Okay. I'll put the link in the chat. Okay. That there is the link right there, y'all. Okay, for this particular article that I just read. Okay. Now, the part that gets me, and like I said, this is a bigger story. Not so much as OnlyFans done reverse their decision, because I get that. You know, they reversed it, and part of it is they saying that, okay, we done found and secured our money, you know, and this, that, and the other. But what is it about these banks? Why is it that we have allowed a financial institution? I don't need you to tell me where the fuck my money come from. You ain't doing that to dope motherfuckers and everybody who comes up here to launder their money. Why did you sit up there and say that it's okay for you to tell folks who are into sex work and this, that, and the other, that no, we're going to charge you a different fee or a higher whatever those percentages are to house the money or whatever the case may be? How do you sit down there and say, oh, I got a credit card, but I'm gonna block you from using it on this particular site? I didn't tell you to block it. I didn't call you and say my credit card was fraudulent. Why would you block that? If I say I'm going to purchase this, why do you block it? Why is it that especially online, because I used to work for an adult bookstore. Okay. Folks would come up in there all the time spending $300, $400, $500 on shit. Okay. And that was back during my credit card stunt days, because shit, I was swiping numbers and carrying on. I'm like, you ain't gonna miss that. You spending $500 on porn, honey. You ain't gonna miss this little card. Okay. So, that was interesting, you know. And I'm like, So why is it that banks, and see, I need to, if someone on here is a bank expert or whatever, come into the conversation, because this is what I need to know from you. Why is it that you feel that you can block somebody's purchases like that? You know, is that what this is? You know, as far as you being a business, and you could say, do they have business autonomy? You know, a business has the right to do X, Y, Z. Yes, girl. Okay. A business has the right to refuse service, you know, to tailor make what it is that they want to do and they're carrying on. I'm interested in finding out what's what with this, you know, because now here we go again as far as fold that up. No. Break that down. Ma'am. Break that down. Hold on. Wait a minute. Miss Thang, come here. I have to teach children how to put large stuff in the trash bag, because that, you know, when you take containers and carrying on, everybody want to take and leave it whole and don't know how to break the shit down so that it don't sit up there and clutter the damn waste, the trash bag. And you wonder how you're sitting up there always taking out trash every 2 goddamn days or whatever, because you don't do it right. Anyway, that's the bigger conversation. What is it about these banks? Because as they said, I told y'all when we did the story before talking about Just for Fans, a lot of folks are saying Just for Fans is the second in the business, right? But a lot of folks are saying that their payout margins were different because they were taking 30%, you know, but they were saying that they took 30% because of their fees. You know, they got the bankers and this, that, and other to contend with. So this here was for them so that they can make sure they can keep the content up there. And Just for Fans is owned and ran by sex workers. It's created for sex workers by sex workers. Okay. So it comes down to that. So now when we come down to all the different payouts of this, that, and the other, it becomes a hustle on the business side of it, because it's not, you know, it's like, okay, well, if you want to do this, then you're going to pay me and this, that, and the other. But how is that fair in the long run? You know, especially for those who are creating this as a business, Because as we all know, there's some who are good at it. There's some who are not. You get the amateur ones who are up in here just doing it to be doing it because it's popular. And then all of this, you get all of that who just fall in between the cracks. But those who are business minded and carrying on, y'all know the ones because those are the ones that are so popular. They have all the names. Every time you turn around, they posted something new. They did a new video. They did this. They have marketing techniques. They're marketing to show you, okay, listen, come subscribe to my page, blah, blah, blah. So their marketing techniques are different. And carrying on, So why is it that we have to deal with the banks to sit down there to tell you how you're supposed to make your damn money? That's what the bigger conversation is. Let's go here. Let me go. I'm start back up here. Yep, I know Facebook groups quiet about racism and diversity issues. They are quite often with a majority of white and light members. Okay. Yeah, that's true. A lot of them do. And then too, here's the other thing. Do y'all know that I know Instagram and Facebook, they start to ding. The algorithms and stuff, if certain words are said or whatever, they will flag you. And right now, if you talk about the COVID-19 virus and this, that, and the other, because they keep wanting to talk about it, they're talking about, we got to make sure folks are not putting misinformation out there. Then what you need to do is make sure that the information that you put out here is true. Everybody's entitled to an opinion. You can't shush nobody up because they have an opinion, whether if they are conspiracy theorists or not. You can't shush them up. What you can do, what the fuck is being said. Why haven't you countered that?
Right.
You have not countered that. They got all these. Listen, I've been seeing new information up here with other doctors who have said, I've been in on this study and I watched them do this, and this, and this. And this is what they're saying they're going to be doing. Okay, doctors are saying this. Okay, so we already have doctors arguing and carrying on shit. What's Paul Rand in the Senate? He's a fucking doctor. Him and Fauci been going back and forth with this shit. Okay, and we know Paul Rand is out his motherfucking mind. Okay, but because he's credentialed as a doctor, a medical doctor, he and Fauci go back and forth. Okay, so why haven't anybody addressed this shit? There's one with the lady being interviewed, and she's saying, this whole big old thing about, they created this and this, that, and the other. She was in on the trial studies and all that. They have not debunked that. So it's not about having misinformation out there. Y'all have not debunked it, with the truth. So how are you going to stifle somebody? It's just like when what's the man's name? Michael Moore, when he came out with his documentaries and things about the federal government and carrying on. This is the same shit that folks are putting out here on this thing based upon supposedly their findings or whatever. But no one has come to debunk it. What's out here because that's what you sit there trying to keep folks from seeing. But you haven't debunked it. You have not taken that video and went point for point. That's what we learned in debate. Debate is I flow your chart and get all your points. And then I got to go through and make sure that I say something about all of your points to debunk what the fuck you're saying. Okay? Because if I don't, then we call that pull this argument through. Because apparently they must agree with us because they haven't said anything about it. So pull that argument through. Okay? They have not debunked it. So now, if you're on Facebook and stuff, and these particular platforms, they ding you. So having certain conversations up here would get you in trouble.
Yes, trust me.
Okay, so now it becomes, are we really, as I said a long time ago, honey, every time we go fight for somebody else's democracy, we end up losing ours. Because is this really freedom of speech? Because right now, y'all trying to censor the fuck out of everybody.
So is it really? So is it really freedom of speech?
Hello. Okay, hey, Bug, just checking in. Okay. Keep my family in prayer. Just found out a few of them have COVID-19. Good Lord. Okay. Yeah, it is incredible. Okay, this whole information carried on about the banks and stuff. Not naughty. Yeah, I said not naughty popcorn. Right. Okay. Naughty.
Child, when I'm trying to be naughty, popcorn is the last goddamn thing on my mind.
Well, obviously. Well, here's the thing. Yeah, you being naughty. Everybody else, honey, want to watch the naughty, honey. So.
Well, you know what? I'll go back to that old song, honey. Go back to that old song. Ain't nothing like the real thing, baby. I mean, watching this cheap, but
Okay, what TV show are they watching and don't know how to break down trash? Child. Hush, boy. Hush.
shit,
Okay.
when I was coming up, the way my mother had us breaking down trash, if an ice cream container was empty, you had to rinse it out first,
Right.
then break it down, and
And then break it
then
down.
put it
That's
in the
right.
damn trash.
That's right. That's right. You had to rinse it out because you didn't want all that. Yeah. Because you didn't want it to
Right.
smell and this, that, and the other. Because if you wasn't ready, if it was, you don't take the trash out when it ain't full. That's a whole bag. And so to keep the smell down, is like if you had chicken and stuff, you had to
Right.
rinse that damn thing out. Yes, yes. Rinse it out. And then break it down so this it's and then put it in the trash. So yeah, you have room for more trash. Okay. Then there says these financial institutions are likely protecting their guilt. For people in the corporate world are the primary clientele for the sex industry, be it porn, sex shows, strippers, or prostitution. Add to the sexual repression of the countries they are based in. Such actions are them trying to cover their tracks. Meanwhile, those of us in the know see the bullshit from a mile away. You know what? Now that's a very good point. That's a very good point. And see, here's the thing that bothers me because they keep wanting to use sex trafficking and child pornography as those are the key words. That's the flashpoints. And it's like, no, honey. Now, yes, a lot of the perverts and shit slide up under that particular category. But how in the fuck are you stopping sex trafficking if I'm an adult? We say this all the time. You can't get into the site unless you say, yes, I'm over 18 or whatever. And they track it through your damn IP address. They track that through your IP address that you say, yes, I'm in. Okay? So once you get in, then before you buy something, they make sure again, are you consenting to buy this? Okay, you have to check yes before you can go to the checkout. Okay, so if I'm doing everything I say to do, how in the fuck are you denying me, and yet you want me to trust your bank and this, that, and the other? See, I'm having issues with that. I'm having issues with that.
But I'm having an issue. I'm like, how y'all gonna tell me that your MasterCard and your Visa, and you're gonna tell me where I can and cannot use my damn card that I'm paying the bill for every goddamn month?
Right, exactly. Okay, true. Yes, they do track any mentions of COVID-19. I guess, child, they did that to Flame Monroe. They were talking about it, and honey, they were doing her show, Laugh and Learn. She tapes on Monday so that they could air it on the show on Fridays. Where the video's up on YouTube on Fridays, and they put the audio up on iHeartRadio, and they had to cut that show short because everything that she was saying, they were flagging it, and they were cutting folks out. They were shutting it down, cutting folks out the live and carrying out. I was like, what the fuck is this? And I'm gonna take all that. I'm gonna make 45 responsible for all that shit because up under his presidency was when a lot of this shit. They flagging a lot of stuff because of him inciting riots and inciting this kind of shit that he was doing. And then for him to be banned, yeah, I put a lot of that blame on him. Okay. Yeah, Rand Paul is it? I said Paul Rand. Rand Paul, okay, whatever.
Same difference. He's a straight up
Okay.
motherfucker.
Okay. Michael Moore, yes, okay, right. Okay. Angel, what you say? They absolutely know that sex work is their bread and butter, and they know there would be an outrage. They knew there would be an outrage. They had big banks threaten them, and they needed the outrage so they could say, see this outrage? If we ban sex, the company is over. Your threats are nothing compared to that. That's the only way to get the banks to understand. Also, you say this is a threat. This was a stunt. Oh, come on, Angel. Angel say this was a whole stunt. This was a stunt. Okay, let's go there. Let's go there. Let's go there with the stunt. Because y'all know I always say this all the time, child. Whenever we sitting up here getting ready to, it's time for an election, or like, let's see, take your indigent hospitals in your community. Here in Atlanta, Grady Hospital is our indigent hospital. Okay. Back home in Detroit, it was Receiving and now Sinai Grace, whatever, and what is a conglomerate within that Detroit Medical Center. Okay. But Receiving and Sinai Grace are the main two that are the indigent hospitals. Now look in your prospective cities. Anytime there's a threat that they're going to close down that damn hospital because they can't make no money, they wait to the last possible second, honey. And all of a sudden, this damn thing is finna get to close down or whatever. Then miraculously, honey, all this money come up so they can keep it open. Okay? We ain't have no insurance, and so we got a lot of folks up in here who, you know, they can't pay for this and they can't paying for treatment, so the hospital is going to go under. The thing of it is, a lot of those particular indigent hospitals, they are fabulous, 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 fabulous trauma centers. Because that's what they are. They get you in, the trauma of it, boom, 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 boom. They could do that. I don't like a lot of them because oftentimes after the trauma is over, the basic care, some of them bitches, no, because I know in New York they got that Queens County or Kings County, what Kings County up in Brooklyn, that motherfucker that I was in, fabulous for trauma. But them bitches there could kiss my ass. Okay, all day. Because it's one, and I can't think of the name.
That's like our hospital here was called Bond Secure, but you know the nickname here.
We had a Bond Secure in Detroit, yes.
But here we call it Bond Secure. Anyway. But
we
what they do here, what they do is when the hospitals get like that, another hospital steps in and take over and change the name. Still the same damn hospital. Trust me. Same damn hospital.
Same shit.
Same shit, different day, honey. I'm sorry.
Same shit. You just change your clothes. Okay.
You just change your dress and put on a different wig, bitch. It's still you.
Right. Okay. TJ says, I knew a group of people that went partying, and now they all have COVID-19 in the hospital, sucking on oxygen. Another group of people that didn't believe fat meat is greasy. You went to the belly of the beast, Miami, Florida. Oh, listen. Okay, listen. Okay. Enough said. Okay.
Well, let's say this. As much money as these CEOs, CFOs, and COOs spend on OnlyFans, when them women get away, go on these corporate retreats and not around their wives for 2 weeks or 2 days or whatever, you know what the hell they doing.
Listen, OnlyFans has become their gross. I had a graphic up here to where they say their gross money has been. They say the gross merchandise value for 2021, and this is based through the end of the first quarter. Okay. They are $5.9 billion in gross merchandise value. Okay. But their net revenue, after they know all their oversight and carrying on, their net revenue that they could keep is $1.2 billion. That's just, we talking about at the end of the first quarter of 2021. Okay.
But then sometimes we get blinded by the little bit that we get, and then just like you said, I mean, they get happy with what they get, but just imagine how much they would get if they wasn't taking 30% of it.
Listen, the whole idea is this: if you know it's just like how we do with church. You know, if they say that you got to give the Lord 10%, okay, you know what that 10% is. So what did you do? You end up working more so that your 10% you're gonna end up compensating for it, right? So that's what everybody planned that, okay? And then because do I do it after gross or do it after net? No, you do it after gross, honey, because the government took theirs first, and you know if they took theirs first, I do it after gross because hell, God's supposed to come first, so you do it after gross. That's the science. But you know what that is, okay? You know what it is when you're budgeting for your rent. You know if this is rent and this and another, or your mortgage payment and your car note and your insurance. You know what that is, so you know how to budget to make sure that you got enough at least to cover this, or set your goal to say this is what I need to make for the month. After all of the expenses, this is what I need to have in the bank. So everybody knows this. Here's where it is, and I tell this to folks all the time when we're looking at Netflix and things. Folks are talking about, oh, I get paid $20 million for this, and this. If your paycheck is $20 million, if that's what your paycheck is, what the hell do you think the company is making?
Hello.
Okay, if they can afford to pay you $20 million, what the fuck are they making?
Well, guess what? If they can afford to pay you $20 million, I can guarantee you they're not making $5 million.
Huh? They making 200 or more million. Yeah.
Key point.
Okay.
Look at this. Do the math with this. I don't know when it started. Just think of alone how much these banks are making, because if you don't have an account here, dude, I'm charging you $5 to cash your damn check.
Good check, right?
The banks are doing this. I'm not talking about the check cashing place.
Right, that's the bank, right?
We're talking about the bank. Wells Fargo, Bank of America. All these banks are now, which back in the day, even if you didn't have an account,
if you didn't have an account, you would go on that bank, you go cash your check, right?
No,
because they were charging all that fee came from the person who had the account, right? But now they tell you, unless you have an account, I will never forget the first time that happened to me.
I was like, what the hell did you just say?
I sure did. Baby, I almost went through the motherfucking window. Child. I was at Comerica Bank in Detroit, right there on 7 Mile. No, I was on Woodward, near 7 Mile, honey. And I went up in there because I had got a paycheck, and it was written on that damn thing. I said, "Oh, let me run up in here and cash your check real quick," because I didn't have to do that. This bitches up there told me that's gonna be $5. I said, "For what?" "Oh, well, you don't have an account here." I said, "I know, but this is written on your bank." And the woman told me, she said, "Oh, well, we are business, honey, and we in business to make money. So no, we charge you now. If you don't have an account, now you can open up an account with us, and it won't be a charge." Why do I need an account? I didn't like Comerica Bank because, like other banks, Comerica was very strict with their policies and stuff. You know, you had to have a minimum balance and carrying on, and then they would charge you for this and charge you for this. I don't need all that. No, I need no.
Charging you for your check. They charge you for every check you write. They charge you for every time you use the ATM machine. If you take out less than that, banks put so much goddamn fees up our ass, honey. Banks be fucking us without any lubrication or condom.
Exactly. And then to know that here you pay for your money twice, because if you're using an ATM that's not your bank's, you paying that ATM fee of $2. And then your bank charge you $3 for using a bank that's not using an ATM that's not theirs. so you're paying twice for your money. So when you try to take out $20, that $20 then became $25.50.
Yes. I mean, and come on, honey, let's keep it real. That's even down to the other cards like Miss Cash App, bitch. Every time you draw something out the bank, she gonna charge you $2.50 to use the ATM machine.
Right.
And that's not even
Right.
cool what the ATM machine is going to charge
So
you. So
exactly.
you just spend $5 to get $20.
Right. 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 Okay. 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 Lanier says the corporate folk don't want the sex so mainstream because that's more eyes on them. After all, they don't they pay for the trafficking? Oh, mic drop right there. Don't they pay for the trafficking? So like most things in their world, the fewer people enjoying it, the more likely it can stay underground like they like it. So this is the whole business of being on the black market.
Yeah.
The whole eyes wide shut shit. Okay. Still up under the whole eyes wide shut.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Very, 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 very interesting. Now, see, I had an article because I know when we first talked about this, I said, well, why don't they go to Patreon? You know, but I had found an article that said Patreon had done away with their people having sex content up there back in 2016 or 2018. Okay. Patreon had done away with for the same thing. They're saying that their banks were having a problem, and they called out JP Morgan Chase. Okay. And I was like, wait a minute. And that's when I wondered, that's how come I'm looking at this as a bigger story here to understand what this is as far as banks and stuff are concerned. Now, here's something that I need to go and investigate because I know none of us take time, very few of us, let me put it that way. Very few of us take time when you go open up an account, you know, they give you all that paperwork, your do's and don'ts and carrying on. That's in real small print. That, you know, you're trying to hurry to get up out of there, so you agree to it, so you just sign on the line and say, yes, open up my account. But we don't read all that shit for the most part. I've skimmed through it. I will say this. I have skimmed through each page, okay? If I can't tell you that I have scrutinized it to the letter, but I have skimmed through it, and every time I came across something that threw me, what is this? And I would go back and I would highlight it because I'm like, oh, wait a minute, what is this? So I can understand what this is. Not one time have I seen anything about this whole idea here, you know, about them being able to block purchases and this, that, and the other on secondary sites. See, this is all new. See, this here is all new. And now that we are dealing with a pandemic, or because we're dealing with virtual reality, sex and then, remember I asked this question a while ago. Now that we're here and everything has been virtual and we're online because you don't want contact or whatever, are we going to remember this for folks who want to get into politics and stuff? Because now, hell, we couldn't touch it. This, that, and so a lot of folks got sex sites and doing stuff virtually and carrying on. Are we still going to use this as this whole thing and as a stigma over them for having a past? Why do we come and make a scandal out of this? Yeah, sex is one of the most natural things on the planet. So why is it that it's a sex scandal? Because somebody didn't have sex, or they freaking and had a 3-way or 4-way or whatever. You know, I only consider it a scandal when it's underage folk. Okay, if you said fucking,
and then you know what the thing with that is, and it always boggles my mind is because I think, how are these sites authenticating that these people are 18? These children know what year and month to say to say that you fucking 18. Are they asking them to send in a valid ID, or they asking them just because I say I was born on a certain date and I could be 18? What's your proof that I'm 18? So and that if somebody goes on a site and meets somebody who said they're 18 and they're not 18, then who fucking fault is that?
Okay. And this is where it is. Now, you know what? I've had this happen to me. I only use Growler for the most part. I was on Adam for Adam, but Adam for Adam sucks. Okay. Because I'm a big boy and I like big boys. And so, you know, you get that size discrimination shit over there. But I was on Growler and I was talking with this guy. I didn't know, you know, his age. I could ask him how old is he and carry on, but I'm the way how we're typing, it didn't gel with me. I'm like, this boy sounds young.
Right,
okay.
right.
He was sounding young. Baby. Whatever happened, honey, he was at home. And his mama got on the goddamn computer and got to text him. She said, my son is 14 years old. How dare you? I said, wait a minute, sister. Hold up.
That part.
Hold up. I said, I didn't start this with him. He started this with me. And if you pay attention, I'm trying to ask him how old he is. I said, so don't you check me like that first off, bitch. Okay. But I understand your outrage. So I'm not mad at you. I'm just trying to tell you, I'm trying to sit up here and get the parameters together. Because a child can't do shit for me but get on my motherfucking nerves and spend my money faster than me. Okay? That's the only thing a child can do. Okay? And point me to the direction of his goddamn daddy. Okay?
Right, so yeah, I mean, and that's something that happens on a regular, and I still haven't seen a safeguard for that yet.
Right. And that there with the NCOSC, okay, whatever that's supposed to stand for. And I did the National Coalition of Sexual Exploitation. I'm just putting it out there because let me look it up. NCOSC. Wait a minute, hold on. I think I'm close. I think I'm close. Okay. And carry it on. What did you stand for, sugar? What did you stand? The National Center of Sexual Exploitation. That's what it stands for. The National Center on Sexual Exploitation. I was close.
But who defines that?
That's a good question because see, and I'm glad that you raised that question because see, remember in the article, they're saying remember that they're doing this so that they can expose sex trafficking and sexual exploitation. But if I am a sex worker and this is the profession that I chose, how am I being exploited? This is a choice I made. How and that becomes a judgment call because how are you telling me that baby, you're being exploited? How in the fuck am I being exploited? And I'm saying, yes, you could touch my body. Yes, I'm gonna show you this. How am I being exploited when I'm providing the material?
And I am the consenting adult
that's doing it. Right. I'm consenting to say yes. So is this a judgment call because you're on your Christian values or whatever? Or are you on this whole thing of trying to say, because a lot of this exploitation now, and I want you to hear something, because remember all the time when you hear exploitation or sexually exploitation, it's always about women. I have yet to hear somebody say a man has been sexually exploited. Mm-hmm. And men are in porn just as well. Mm-hmm. Okay. But we don't hear about men being exploited in the sex world or in the sex industry. You know what I'm saying? Unless
maybe it's just one of the things that's hush because they don't want the backlash from it.
But here's where it is. If you are the National Center on Sexual Exploitation, honey, that should be in your creed. That should be in your creed. Okay, exploitation is exploitation. But you sit there and say you specifically target women. Because I have yet to hear somebody say that men and women in this business, they don't say that.
And you know, and I'm gonna piggyback off of that. And you know what? And I find that to be extremely disturbing because when I think of that, I shared with you guys a while ago about me being sexually assaulted in the workplace by a male, and I tried to call hotlines. There was nobody there for it.
How about that?
They said if it was man on woman, we could talk to. We're not trained to talk to somebody who was sexually assaulted. We're not trained to talk to a man who's sexually assaulted by another man. What kind of bullshit is that?
We are not trained. Say that one more time.
That's what they told me.
We are not trained to talk to you to a man who has been sexually assaulted by another man in the workplace. Isn't that ridiculous?
Yes.
Isn't that ridiculous?
When I tell you, Meech, I called so many numbers that night, and I was like this close from having a fucking panic attack because I was like, it is truck fucking 2020, and you mean to tell me that you can't even direct me to where, even if you can't do it, you can't even direct me to find out where the hell I can go and get help. This is crazy.
Right.
So you know, it's almost like what you say. It's almost like you said, "Oh, men don't be get sexually harassed at work by other men." Where the fuck? What planet do you?
Wait a minute. Do you know? See, here we go. Because here's a layer of another onion. Because there is this whole mentality that men don't get raped. You can't, especially not by a woman. Men don't get raped. Okay, and I said that makes no sense because, as gay as I am, a woman cannot come up to me and talk about we're gonna do this. Because anything that happens, honey, that goes against anything I say, no, I don't care how hard my dick got. No. And a lot of folks, because I tell this, you heard me teach this. The body is designed to respond to stimulus. Okay. So anybody can touch you right and you're gonna have a reaction because the body is designed for that. Okay, if I'm not sexually attracted to you or don't want to have sex with you, honey, there's nothing that's going to go on that I'm going to consent to. So anything I say no to, honey, no, that there comes rape. And I have always said, if a woman does that to me, I'm going to call the cops, and honey, I will press charges. And I've had men look at me like I was crazy. What the fuck is wrong with you? That's pussy that I don't want.
You know what?
I don't want that touching me.
Let me tell you something. Same way that a man can take advantage of a woman sexually, a woman can do the same thing to a damn man. At the end of the day, once I say no, no means fucking no, period. And if you go beyond me saying no, then at this particular point in time, you have raped me.
Exactly. And then here's where the fucked up part is, because it's the gotcha. Because if she on some fuck shit, she'll go through all that and then flip the tables and say you raped her. How about that?
But you know what that boils down? Check this out, because I've been there, and you know what that boils down to? You know what it boils down to, Meech? Who the fuck gets to the commissioner first? Or who makes their report first?
How about that?
Because then, even in that with domestic violence and all that, the first thing they say, and I learned that the first thing they say, well, if that person make a statement and say that we are lovers, oh, bitch, this ball game. That's
right.
That's and that's what happened to me when I went. But he told you we were lovers. I didn't confirm that. So how in the hell is you going to take him saying we were lovers, and then they say even if you're not a lover, you also have to realize that have you two been intimate within the last year? What the fuck did that? We could have been intimate 9 months ago, and we could have broke up 7. We could broke up 10 months ago. So what does that have to do with the price? It's so much bullshit with it. It's pitiful.
Right. And I totally agree. And that there is where this is, child. That's exactly where all the child. Wow.
But if you notice, you see them bankers. They might say what they want to say, but them bankers are, well, wait a minute, honey, we ain't gonna give up all this goddamn free easy money off of my fan or your fan or whoever damn fan page it is.
Okay. Let's see. They only charge the people twice that say ATM machine, because the M of the ATM means machine, automatic teller machine. Right. Okay.
Is that your belief?
Okay.
All right, honey. That's how we do it around these parts.
I've spoken of exploitation of males. I just have rarely used the word exploitation. Guys have come to me in private in response to what I've said about gay porn and nightlife exploiting men and their trauma. But no guys join me in the conversation publicly. because gay males especially are taught to be enablers of male exploitation and not fighters against it. That's a very, 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 very good. That's very, very good right there. That's very, very good. Because see, here's now let's go there with this. Because see, again, that's male culture. Male culture is men are gonna be men. You know what I'm saying? Boys would be boys, and that kind of bullshit. And then because mainstream society already see us as sexually degenerates and carrying on, anything that goes the degeneration part of it is always that's already the negativity. So everything else falls up on that. Well, then you brought that on yourself because you're degenerate anyway. Well, what did you think was going to happen? Because that's what that brings about. That's evil. That's negative, honey. What did you think was going to happen? You know
what? It's such bullshit to the point that even if and when men are raped, so many of them are silent about it that you would never know.
Because of the embarrassment.
Or because of quote unquote the male code, men don't get raped.
Right. Men don't get raped, honey. Men don't get raped. You know, and that there is because we perpetuate the idea that men are oversexed, and that's all. That's you know, that's that testosterone thing. That's all we do. You know, that's how we get down. And then now that we in a culture that perpetuates a lot of this rough sex shit. You know, the whole you got to get choked out and shit, or you know, all this old craziness. I can't stand all this spitting shit. That just bothers me, honey. Every time I see the spit shit, honey, I just think of cows and carrying on. It's just nasty for me. Don't you spit on me like that? Okay.
It's like you said earlier, when people fail to realize sex and intimacy is a beautiful thing. We made it ugly and nasty and disgusting.
Uh-huh.
I mean, if that's what you like, that's your thing, fine. But just because it's your thing, I mean, it has to be mine.
Right.
If you want somebody to choke, bitch, I'm skinny as hell. Ain't nobody choking me. What the hell is wrong with choke who? For what?
Right. Bitch, I'm asking that.
I'm not jumping out of trying to catch my damn breath.
But a lot of that, see, whoever experimented with all this to find this shit out is what it is. Because the whole idea of asphyxiation is that when you get asphyxiated and you almost out of consciousness, the body is constricting, right? And it allows for a more intense orgasm, right? I don't have time to find that shit out, okay?
I don't need all that, honey. I don't need all that. I'm grateful. I don't need no little blue pill. If the sex is good to me, the orgasm gonna be intense any goddamn way. You ain't got to choke me not one goddamn time.
So we're in this culture of, and again, y'all heard me say this several times before too. The whole idea of what it means to be a freak, because now everybody they keep constantly raising the bar on what freak is or what a freak is. Okay, so now everybody is trying to determine or to define how much of a bad bitch they are, how much of a freak they are, in order to get the likes, to get the this, to get the that, to get the sexual conquest or whatever. So in this particular kind of culture, someone who gets raped in this, number one, listen, folks don't know, because we still live in a culture where no means yes. Okay.
Hell no. No means no.
And especially in our culture, because see, gay men, we'll sit down there, we'll run from some dick, child, and in the midst of trying to sit up there and say, I'm having fun. If you need him to stop, no, you need to tell his ass to stop. It's not about, oh no, daddy, and then you done got over the pain of it, and mustered through the pain. Now you done got more aggressive with him, and carrying on. I don't get anybody who likes to fuck until they see blood. That I don't understand that.
No, but you know, get the. You know what?
Okay.
You know what? You know what?
I don't
Get the
understand
fuck out. Bye.
But that there, we got folks that's into that. And so in the
And that's
culture
your
that we live in, the culture that we live in, because we have allowed ourselves to go to those particular regions, this is that there is part of the reasons why we're still seen as degenerates, and why a man who comes forth to say I've been raped goes on deaf ears, and which is why exploitation of men is not something that's on the forefront.
Right here, Amico, and you know, and I like his little comment right there, but I want to tell people,
Which is all of this stems from colonization and slavery. Yes.
But let's keep in mind, let's keep it real, that this started way before slavery, our realm of slavery, because back in the Bible days, they had little boys to take their sexual frustrations out on, even without. So this ain't nothing that happened once we discovered fucking America. This was going on way before. This was going on with the Egyptians. This was going on way back when.
And that's what they taught us. How about that? And that's what they taught us. Let me put that caveat on there. Because for those of y'all who are Bible thumpers out there and carrying on, everything that we're saying is what y'all taught us. That came from Bible study. That came from traditional teachings. This ain't nothing that came from elsewhere. That came from traditional teachings. This is what you said happened. We wasn't there. We going on what you say supposedly happened back in the day. Okay. So yeah. The children. Oh, wait a minute, TJ. He said, like when people say VIN number, vehicle identification number, right?
Yeah, you know, we like acronyms for everything. People don't laugh out loud anymore. They just say LOL. Sometimes they put the little things up there, and I have to look at them and say, "What the hell does this mean?"
Okay, that's right, Meat. And there are certain things that Black folks didn't do when it came to consensual sex. Now that we have adapted white ideology, and as it relates to sex, now we got folks trying to outdo each other. As you said before, oh honey, don't we know it? Don't we know it, honey? And trying to get, again, going back to trying to get your freak status.
But I had this child say to my son one day, and it blew my mind. And y'all know I'm a little seasoned, so I'm a little older than most of you children around here. This child said, "My goal is to be the Spider-Man in Baltimore." I could have slapped the shit out of that little boy. I was like, is that how high you set your goals?
Right.
And who the hell are you going to compare it to? How are you going to justify to me? How are you going to know that you're the best Spider-Man in Baltimore? Please tell me.
Listen. One of my kids is no longer with me because within the 6 years that he had came out onto the scene, 6 years, okay, and I'm saying that he came out onto the scene because I don't know what he did prior to. We've talked, and he was very limited, so he's not new to it. It's just that now you done finally came out to go to the clubs and introduce yourself to people. And within 6 years, he done created a reputation that it took organizations 10 and 15 years to create. You hear? And I had to keep telling him, I said, baby, you're doing this wrong, sugar. You're doing this wrong. Okay, but you couldn't tell him nothing because, honey, now, you know, it's that freedom, that sense of being. And so now,
in that sense of I can be who I want to be now.
I can be who I want to be, and this, that, and the other. But within the first 4 years, his name had become tarnished. Because now you're known as a home wrecker, you're the slut, you're the this, you're the that. And you wonder why folks look at you like you're crazy. You done went through and then had Atlanta. within 4 years, you done had. This boy said to me one day, he went to a party, and it was like maybe 40 people there, and every last one of them in the goddamn party, he done fucked. Everybody
Was it good?
at the party, he had fucked. I said, and you want to stick your chest out about that.
Coming out is such a, I'll use this word, such a unique process for everybody, and it's different for everybody. I ain't gonna lie, y'all know I came out late because I'm the wife and 3 children later. So
The same as him.
You know, my mindset was, I mean, I ain't get that bad, praise God. But my mindset was, well, bitch, I got to make up for lost time, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? But it ain't go that.
Got you.
Bitch, it ain't go. I ain't make up for that much goddamn lost time. But but the mindset is, somebody's coming out late in life. Their coming out is going to be totally different for somebody who comes out at the age of 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Bitch, when I came out, I was almost 30. I was almost 30.
Right.
I was a whole ass man when I came out. What the fuck?
Right. Mm-hmm.
But ain't that 40 people. I praise the Lord. Thank you, Jesus. Let me knock on wood. Thank you, Jesus. Okay.
But all of that, you know, and I'm developing a workshop because we're going to talk about these things in it, and I'm trying to figure out how I want to do it. It's probably going to be virtual, and I'll do it as a workshop presentation so folks can go back. But I really want to have people interact with me. But nonetheless, I really want to discuss these kinds of things because, see, one of the things that we have to get a hold of, and that there is us as the alphabet children, the coming out process has got to be a little bit more governed, okay? Because we can't let the kids see. When I came out, the instructions were, bitch, you are out here, honey. You got all the dick and the ass in the world, honey. The world is yours. And it was all about divide and conquer, okay? It wasn't about maintaining some kind of standards and carrying on. And then, mind you, my sex numbers are very high because when I embraced all of this, sex became my addiction. And see, I'm gonna do a whole thing on that. I've talked about it here before, but sexual addiction ain't nothing to play with. And a lot of folks don't realize that they are addicted to sex because we use the word I'm a nympho. Okay. Oh, honey, I just got a high sex drive. A lot of people are in addiction because a lot of the time it's not sex that they want. It's intimacy and they want to be loved. But a lot of people end up having sex for love, in place of love, or to feel as though I got a moment. And then whatever that feeling is, that's the feeling that they go chasing. Because it could have been right on board, right on point, and so now they're going out trying to get it. And then in us having this quote unquote high sex drive, which is really addiction, you end up chasing that because now you got a good lick here. And so then and want to get your freak status on. And then you got folks who, for me, it was self-esteem because if I have folks who wanted to get to be with me or whatever, in my element, it was all about because I became the beautiful one. Then I became the one who could sit down and say yay or nay. You know what I'm saying? In my zone, in my place of debauchery. Because in real everyday world, I didn't have that. I wasn't the most abound one. I got this great little huge nose, honey. I'm not the most masculine. I was always big. So I was always the outcast. And so I didn't have that in my regular world or whatever. Hell, I didn't even go on dates in high school. The dates that I went on, honey, they were platonic dates with my place that's in my prom picture. We would go to the movies every weekend and carry on, but shit, we were, we best friends. It wasn't like I had a date and we going out to dinner and I had a girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever. I didn't have none of that. So that there was, my little claim to fame or whatever. I don't come from money, because by the time I was in school, my parents divorced and hell, my mother was classified disabled, so she wasn't able to work anymore. So we didn't have money, you know. So we had that to contend with, and so that put that all in a different box. And when I had a boyfriend, a crackhead, at the time, you know, that just shot all of my self-esteem. And when it did not dawn on me until after we had got together again, like 20 years later, that the beast of my addiction, okay, mainly kicked in like right after my debacle with him, okay, and that's when I got enthralled in because I threw myself in it. You know, before when I first started going to the places I was going to, it was because I was out, it was new, I was excited. And you know, you following the graffiti. If you want a good time, go to this bathroom. You know, oh, for the best blowjobs, go over here, chapter. So we followed the graffiti, you know, to the tea rooms. But then when I got hooked, and now I'm starting to chase it because the reason why I was having sex was different. It wasn't because I was having sex. It was to validate me, you know, a lot of folks I've always been a bigger than life personality. So a lot of folks, people wouldn't take me seriously. You know, I was always a dreamer. Everything I wanted to do has always been big. And, you know, then I don't have the resources to do it like I see it in my head. So I got to shortcut it. And, you know, then that would piss me off or whatever, because it's not what I want. So it became those kind of things. So I would run to sex because I knew in that arena I excelled. You know, I excelled. And then when I got the accolades and the applause and I got the repeat and the returns and folks fighting over who could touch me first, bitch, that was everything. So then I got addicted to the power of what it is, you know. And a lot of us, that's what it is. When we hear, oh, I'm a bad man.
But you know, sex, and this may sound weird for people who don't understand it, but it won't sound weird to you. Sex became different for me once I became Helena because people looked at me different.
Yeah.
I had a guy say to me, I seen your pictures, I like your body, but you do drag.
Yeah.
I seen your male body, but I could never, you know, do anything with you because you do drag. I'm like, but I do drag, that's not my life. What are you saying?
Right.
So you're telling me you like my body, you like everything about me, but if I didn't do drag, you could leave with me. So sex became real different for me once Helena became a part of my life. Before, you know, being somewhat feminine was looked at differently, but now it's like now that I'm somewhat feminine and I do drag, you know what category they put me in.
I know what girl. Listen, I know what. I know, which is why I don't lead with it. I tell folks I'm an entertainer. I still, you know, folks who fuck with me, they'll find out in platforms like this because I'm talking about it. Or if they may happen to see a wig or something around the house every now and again. But I don't tell folks that, especially when I first started. I started doing this in 1993. In the beginning of all this, I couldn't tell that because shit. The stigma on the girls and carrying on, the stigma on y'all shady, y'all this, y'all that, which is why those who never knew that I did perform or whatever, child, whenever they get into those places, oh, I ain't never been taught by no drag queen. I'm like, oh, well, you just didn't know, bitch. Please, okay, you know now.
Say me one time we was getting it in, it was like wham bam, we ain't gonna thank him because we gonna have a filibuster up in this bitch. But then when it was all said, no, he said, you know, I do a lot of things, but I don't think I could ever let a drag queen fuck me. Said to myself, well, maybe you couldn't have back then, but honey.
You right. You know, right. So, yeah, and that's a whole, you know, that's a whole different show. So to where that needs to have a topic on its own because oftentimes, you know, our hetero counterparts look at us and they be like, okay, I don't understand that. And so they're trying to get that answer from us to identify trans women because the whole trans thing is something completely different.
But see,
That's something
that's
completely
what a lot of
different.
people don't notice this. But and you be able to catch the tea. That's one of the reasons why most of the time I perform. When I'm done, I get out of drag
Right,
because I want people to know I live my life as Derek and not as
right,
Helena. Because people are
right,
like, oh, where was you at? I ain't seen you. Well, bitch, you just tipped me $10.
right,
Oh, that was you? Yeah, that was
right,
me.
right.
I said, okay, girl.
You know, and then for me too, because this is a performance piece. You know, this is just an extension of what it is that I do.
Oh,
Okay,
that's my piece for my show next week. See my mammy costume.
okay, okay. So, you know, we get into all these particular things, and see again. Here go another piece of why the onion always blooms, because now having gone into these particular places, see when we talk about exploitation and rape amongst men, and especially in the alphabet culture, see we get people who get upset about that because now they've had an experience that they claim that I had somebody tell me that on the phone. We ended up having phone sex. And he told me I raped him. I said, how in the fuck did I rape you? I didn't want to do this. I said, you could have easily hung up the phone. You the one who kept going, not me. And do you know?
And I'm quite sure you deal with this too. People saying, well, um, I'll date you if you Samantha all the time. Well, bitch, you ain't never gonna date
Oh
Samantha because Samantha.
God!
No, bitch,
Do you
Helena
know?
don't do dates.
I sweat too much for that shit. I sweat entirely too much for that. Okay, and I don't like makeup in my eyes and carrying. I can't do all that.
Mascara
It
running and
takes
all
me
and all that curtain on.
it takes me too long to get ready. This is an hour. If I'm trying to do it the right way, honey, it's an hour and a half. Okay, to put my makeup on, to get it right, then I got to put on some hair, adjust the hair, put my body on. Okay, and just that's an hour and a half to get ready for a date, to take it all back off the fuck. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? Number one. Now have I done? I've done it. I've done it because I've had a couple of guys who wanted to meet Samantha Karen on. They thought Samantha was very beautiful, and that's cute. That's real cute. But honey, no, I realized that after two times that I've done it, I can't do this. I can't do this. This is no, honey. This is not me at all.
And you
Okay.
and the thing is, and like I tell people, if you find somebody that do that's good for you. But my thing is, I can't have you falling in love with Helena because 99.9% of the time Helena's in that motherfucking suitcase right there, and that's
She's
where
going
she
to the closet,
stays.
right? Right. She goes back in the closet in the box, honey, or something. Okay. And I heard that everything is illusion. You know,
Right.
Everything for me is illusion. I do not have breast augmentations to care. I have nothing. Here, I got to get a grill, honey. We got to get a grill. Okay. So, no. Everything is illusion.
And that's something that you need to do in your presentation too. You know, tell people, but it's like it's weird. I know it's the end thing now for a lot of people, but that's just not my thing. I've had people say, "Well, you can make money, but that's not my thing."
It's not my
It's
thing.
enough people out there that already do that. I want to be known for Helena the performer, not Helena the sex deviant.
Exactly. You know, and carrying on. I get that all the girls. I'm back in Detroit, honey. The girls that was on the stroll, they're like, girl, you make some money out here. They love the big girls out here. They love the big girls out here, honey. I was like, girl, I'm gonna let y'all handle that. I'm gonna work security so I could be y'all protector out here. I don't have
Because
the heart.
that will open up a can of worms that I know damn well I'm not ready for.
You know, and I thought I was because listen. Back in 2014, tail end 2013, 2014, honey, right when I had where my world imploded. Okay. I had lost my job. That's when I almost lost my life. My brother died. My sister died. You know, my baby sister, Sabrina Morgan, she passed. 2013 was just my hell year. Okay. And I lost everything. And I'm sitting up here in this damn apartment thinking I was about to lose my apartment because and that was the same year that they had stopped the unemployment. Okay. The emergency unemployment compensation, the EIC, EUC rather. We wasn't getting any more extensions. They had stopped everything. And it was at that time I sat up there and I had put an ad on Backpage because Backpage was still up.
Ooh,
Yeah, I
that's
did.
hot.
Yes, I did. And
I bet you they were dinging the hell out of your back page, wasn't it?
you know, actually, no, because what it was, here's where it was. I wasn't doing it up in face. I did it as Demetrius.
Okay.
But here's where it was. I did not think that damn thing through because shit, I'm sitting there saying, okay, I know what I'm about, this, that, and other. But a bitch ain't thought nothing about whether or not, you know, if they want to do something without protection, you know, in call, out call kind of shit. I didn't think nothing about it. I was just in a desperate space because I was trying to make some money.
Right.
And that had never been my element to do that. You know,
No,
I know a lot of the girls, a lot of the children that can sit down there. That's a OnlyFans. OnlyFans has exploded because those children are able to do it in that element. You know, they're able to.
And it's more of a safe environment.
Yes. I don't know, honey. I got, y'all heard me, I got stuff out there floating and carrying on, but that's because it was fun for me. It wasn't about trying to make this into a business where I'm marketing and selling my body like that or selling my sexual favors. That wasn't my thing. And folks may call it stupid or whatever. You're doing it anyway. No, I'm doing it because that's my enjoyment. That's my choice to do as enjoyment. This is not about trying to make a career out of this because see now, in order to keep the coin coming in, it's got to be on some kind of consistent basis, a regular basis. And at this stage of the game now, I'm over 50. Okay, I'm over 50. And yes, I would love to be behind the scenes now to produce that kind of work because I know that it's needed for our demographic because a lot of folks think that we're over 50 and over the hill. We don't do shit. Your dick don't work or whatever. But there's a lot of things that we can sit down here and get involved in that's not so lascivious and necessarily nasty to where we could actually, you know, there's a demographic for it. So, but the thing of it is that now, you know, the alphabet, the world itself is based on youth, but the alphabet culture, honey, y'all know everything. We are so, what's the word I'm looking for? I want to say supercilious, but that's not the word I want. Superficial. That's what I'm looking for. We're very superficial. Okay. We're very superficial culture, honey. It's youth oriented. You know what I'm saying? And
but it gets me because even when and see you're not on sites. I'm probably on sites a little bit more than you, but anyway, who cares? I mean, it just blows my mind because I be seeing guys that's 20, 21, 22 and say, I've mastered deep tissue massage. Where the fuck did you get a license from to master in deep tissue massage? Please show me.
mm-hmm.
Or I massage. Boy, you're 18, you're 19, you're 20. You ain't even finished high school yet. How you get a certificate in being a massage? And that's what they do. They use all of that, but that's not. I don't want Helena to be known as the sex kitten. I want Helena to be known as the entertainer. Period.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So for me, I couldn't go on any of those places like that and put Helena's picture up there because bitch, that would be the scandal that would ruin my damn career.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Oh, the first lady of gospel, first lady or second lady of gospel, bitch, I have needs and wants too, honey. But I'm just not gonna blast them on back page, front page, side page, and in between page.
Okay. Well, honey, that there is all that. Okay. And all of that, when it comes down to it, as y'all see, I love having blooming onions because conversations come from different places. And as you can see, when we're talking about, the OnlyFans and this, that, and the other, how it can be and folks wanting to make their money and carrying on, the bigger conversation is to talk about these damn banks. And why is it that the banks want to sit down and do this, that, and the other? But then the sub points or the subtopics become, how is it that folks get involved in these kinds of things? Why? Especially now when the porn industry is not what it used to be anymore. So a lot of, you used to have a lot of porn industries to where the folks would sit down there and get involved with the company, and you made X and Y movies and carrying on. Well, now you can sit down here and be your own porn producer. And you need a staff and carrying on because you got to have cameramen and things. And that's another thing we're talking about, making this a business, because you can tell production versus amateur. Okay, those who have made this into a business definitely have production, because they'll sit down there and they hire cameramen. They got better editing programs and carrying on. They know how to interface music and things of that nature. They know what to do. They done made this into a business to have a masterful product. Okay,
and they're using better hotel rooms. Okay. Everybody in the Motel 6 porn star.
The sex got better, baby. Okay. Really, because I know there's a couple of folks. There's a couple of folks, child, who have used my donut factory on a number of occasions, child. And when I came across it on Twitter, I was like, "Oh, bitch, where the fuck was I at? I wasn't at work that day."
And then listen, when you're thinking about the business aspect of that, if I'm coming to your donut factory, I can charge a whole lot more than if I was going to Motel 6.
Exactly. Right. Okay. Right. Hell, I was sitting up there trying to get the dirt, honey. I know one time, Black Rain Production, they had came into one of the hotels I was working at around the corner from my house. They came up in here, and because I know my rooms, I know the furniture, and carrying on, I knew the curtains and all of that.
Right.
And so they got the pen in that room, and at the time we had a Sheraton that was across the bridge, and you could see the sign outside of the window. Baby, bye. I was mad about that. I said, "Bitch, y'all done came up in here, ain't said nothing." I even sat up there and told them, I said, "Bitch, I done seen this, honey. Listen, if y'all come back, let me know. I can probably get y'all a discount if y'all let me get on the set." Okay.
Okay.
To no avail, honey.
Okay.
No avail.
I came to the conclusion. I told myself, when you was talking about it earlier about freaks, I've came to I'm not a freak. I'm freaky, but I'm not a freak. I'm by far from being a freak. Trust me.
Okay,
because,
right.
Like you say, what they classify as freak now, honey, I'm not nowhere near that.
Right.
Ain't nobody pissing on me. Ain't nobody now.
Okay, TJ said old hotels with comforters.
Yeah. Don't do that.
Okay. But we come to all of this particular conversation because we talk about how folks can get into it, how folks do whatever, and the whole idea because the people, the banks and stuff want to try to protect against sex trafficking. And I don't like the term sex trafficking because that's not what that is. Call it what it is. It's prostitution. If you're trying to sit down there and keep folks from being prostituting, that's not your call. It only becomes your call when we have to deal with folks who have been kidnapped against their will.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
That's when
we know prostitution is the oldest damn profession going.
Listen, and it's up under many different names and carrying on because folks doing it in many different ways.
Yeah.
Okay. And so right now, I mean, hell, that's why business execs do what they do. Hell, if you paying somebody for their sex, bitch, that's prostitution. I don't care what it is. If you took them out to dinner and at the end of the day, y'all fucking, you paid for that pussy or that piece of ass.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You paid for it. Okay. So whether it is traditional, hey, mister, do you got a dime or some time? Okay. Or if you're gonna take it the route, take the scenic route, honey, and you want to sit down there and buy flowers and try to set a mood and then go out to dinner and then go out dancing and you don't spend $150 for the evening to come home to fuck, it's the same thing.
Same difference.
It's the same difference.
And it's been going. I mean, and it's been doing that for years. I mean, look at the movie. I mean, they changed the name to protect the innocent. I mean, look at Dolly Parton when she was a madam in the best little whorehouse in Texas.
Right.
That's just commonplace. It's not like this is something new. I mean, when you looked at Lady Sings the Blues, you know, when Billie Holiday was doing that part, the woman who was taking care, she was a madam.
Right.
So it's not like this is nothing new.
Right. Right. So now that we have this, this here is where this is. So now, as we're moving forward, now we just have we need to have the bigger conversations. And then as consumers, you know, for those who buy the stuff, the porn and this, that, and the other, how dare you tell me, bitch, I'm sitting up here invested in your company to, number one, build my credit or whatever it is that I'm doing. I have your card. How dare you tell me how to spend my goddamn money? You're going to block a purchase because I'm trying to do this over here. How dare you?
Well, honey, you like y'all used to do years ago. If you don't want to just change the damn name of the company and put it as Hello Dolly. I don't know what you do, but how you going to just dictate to me who, what, when, where, and how I'm going to spend my damn money?
Listen, I'm gonna go like this because, okay, you may not be able to do it on the site, but here Amazon sells sex toys and carry it on. Okay, Amazon.com. So what are you trying to tell me?
Well, I'm gonna start a sex site, and it's gonna be called Just for Kicks.
Well,
what you kicking? Okay.
Right. Well, listen, honey, on that note, let's sit up here and get these kids into their own little perspective world. I've got to start to tailor my shows because next week, Friday and Saturday, we will be on the air. But afterwards, I have to go to the Donut Factory. And I let them. We have a new supervisor, and next week being Labor Day weekend, honey, they want extra coverage, so they asked me to come in after I finish my obligation. So I told them, I said, honey, listen, I got shit to do. And so, yeah, so I got to curtail my show so that I could get a little rest. And then we're trying to scale back a little bit to make it a better at a 2-hour show versus the 2.5, 4-hour shows that we've been doing. Because basically, honey, we've been giving y'all like 2-3 shows all at the same time. But We're going to scale it down and things, so I'm doing my part to do that. But y'all know talking is a hobby. And when we get on something hot, I want to make sure that the folks feel as though they're getting their just desserts. So, honey, on that note, listen, honey, in the absence of Big Red and Aunt Nikki has not been feeling well all day today. We haven't even talked. She texted me. Y'all know Big Red is in Chicago still. They're dealing with his brother. The funeral for his brother is Monday. So they're taking care of all of that. So y'all keep everybody up in your great thoughts and things. I don't pray anymore. I send up praise reports, praise reports of strength and health and wealth and prosperity and wisdom and understanding and comfort and joy and peace, so that could come raining down. Because y'all know I believe when praises go up is when blessings come down. So, yeah, I send out praise reports. So that there is that. So in their absence, honey, we thank you for joining us and tuning in with us. Don't let the conversation stop here, honey. If you have ideas about what we've said or whatever, do your research, child. Don't just take my word out. That's come out like giving y'all sources and things. Do your own research, and I'm sure you have your own opinions about a few things. Keep the conversation going and tag me in it because I want to see what you're at, honey. Okay, right. So on that note, that there is done, honey. If you love me, tell your friends, honey. If you hate me, honey, tell all of your motherfucking enemies. But do know this, everything that we're doing over here with District T Entertainment, honey, will move forward, honey. I got your boy Derek up in here, honey, as my co-host today. Okay, filling in for my babies, honey. and all of that. So, with that being said, honey, wait a minute. Okay. I'm supposed to have the closing ready, right? I don't have it ready. Okay. I do this all the time, honey, to get caught up in my own little world. Where the close? Wait a minute. Where is it? Hold on. I got the report, y'all. See what happens when you see what they say. Be ye always prepared. Okay.
Have
If
you
you
used
stay.
your palette yet?
No, I haven't yet. No. I need to put Samantha some show dates together. Because I'm gonna need her actually because I'm trying to get revenue streams of income. And I really need to get her working a little bit more so that we can do this thing. Because it's
Well, whenever you need your big sister, bitch, I'm there. But praise be to God, I get my ID back soon. Look, I do what I need to do for my sister, but this go around, bitch, I don't care if it's spirit, mirrored, or buried, bitch. I'm getting on somebody's plane. Do you hear what I'm telling you?
that.
That 14 hours wore me the fuck out. But I had promised you that I was gonna be there, and I was gonna get there by a hook or motherfucking crook. Do you hear me?
Baby, I understand. We get that coming from Detroit, yeah.
Right. I'm like,
Baltimore. I know that feeling.
Backed out on me at the last minute. I said, bitch, y'all ain't gonna stop this bitch. I've been in this bitch. I get where I need to go, and I get there how I get there. Plain and simple.
Okay. And on that note, honey, woohoo! And scene, honey. Yeah.